Greetings and salutations, friends. Welcome back to another episode of Stamford Bridge. That's a fitting name right now, considering that apparently the bridges are being burnt within the Conservative Party too.
It's been very tense in the American right.
I mean, we all knew this was going to happen because there were bridges, but they were made out of toothpicks and held together by duct tape at best.
Yeah, it's not been. But this is a particular issue that has been festering in American politics for a long time, which is it Israel first or is it America first? And a lot of American politicians actually do seem to think it's Israel first.
Yeah, no, that's been a long-term habit of the US. In fact, it's been interestingly vacillating, like back and forth on this topic, to the point where also Israel itself seems like if you ever looked into like Israeli politics, particularly around like the big wars, for example, Yom Kippur, etc., and the push to do a preemptive strike on the Arab states, it's almost all focused around like how will America react.
Oh yeah, and the the recent Iran set to was a really great example where Israel was basically drawing America into a war with Iran, which obviously it's wanted for a while. And Trump put a fairly clean end to it, actually. It's like, right, okay, I'm going to bunker bust their nuclear thing.
Are you ready to
But the Iranians probably weren't that bothered by it, realistically. And so it was just, here's a big explosion. Now everyone sit down and shut up. And you can tell that there's some serious tension between Trump and Netanyahu in like who is actually calling the shots here.
Oh, also, chat, please do refresh the video if you're having audio issues, because I noticed that YouTube had a hiccup there, so it's probably just YouTube being YouTube. But yeah,
so
no, like
this is one of those issues that's just been kind of forced to the forefront, whether people like it or not. Because just to be clear, right, I don't care about Israel or Palestine or anything like that at all. Like these are not my issues. I find the issues generally quite gross. Like there's a slime around them that everyone gets on themselves when they dive into the arguments, blah blah blah. And I just don't really want the slime on me. But this is just too big to ignore.
Yeah, because it has to be said that the Iran-Israel conflict, which had been brewing for a very long time and had been like a little bit off and on for quite a while, it is one of those conflicts that just kind of, it's always there, you know, and it would have kept going as well. But Trump did manage to put a very conclusive end to it. And he did so in actually a rather brilliant way, because here's the thing. The entire point of proportional response is that somebody does something to you, you do something to them. But it needs to be enough to the point where they go, okay, fine. But it can't be so much that they're pushed into a corner.
Yes.
That's the thing. So when people say like, oh, they didn't actually destroy the Iranian nuclear program. Yeah, no, that's a good thing. Because if they had like obliterated the Iranian nuclear program, then Iran's position in the world as a power would have been destroyed. It would have necessitated Iran escalating the conflict simply just to maintain its prestige on the world stage. Especially bearing in mind as well that Iran is rift with internal conflict. Its leaders cannot appear weak. And so it's a very careful and delicate balance to strike there, where you give them enough of a reason to say, all right, that's enough, but not so much that they can't say it's enough.
Fire is the answer.
And giving Iran a reason to literally fire missiles at Israel is breathing life into the Iranian regime. Like, if you actually want the Iranian regime to collapse, you don't do anything. Because most Iranians are just not fucking Muslims at this point. Like, the regime has failed to actually capture the hearts and minds of Iranians, and now it's just there. And so it's just like, okay, well, if you turn them into like a clear and present danger, then the Iranian people will side with their own government over Israel. But if you don't, then who knows what happens?
Yeah. Because again, you gotta remember, the Middle East, they actually do hate the Jews. Not unironically, not memeing. They actually do hate them.
Yeah, they're not just being online edgelords.
So
the point is that we hate everyone in this region equally. We're equal opportunity haters. We've got absolutely no preference for one or the other.
Yep. It's very simple.
Obviously, I'm joking. We don't have any investments in any of them. So I feel like we can be relatively neutral commentators on the subject.
Yes, but this then does also, again, as mentioned, come to an head with the American right, as there are a lot of people in the American right whose identities are tied very closely to Israel.
Yeah, Ted Cruz.
So I guess we'll start with this New York Times little video here then.
Yeah, they've got a fairly good summary of what's going on.
A civil war is brewing in the Republican Party, in which mainstay GOPers are pushing back against a growing anti-Semitic far-right offshoot, searching for legitimization. And the growing rift reached what seems like a boiling point after Ben Shapiro unleashed a blistering tirade against Tucker Carlson on November 3rd, accusing him of normalizing Nazism by hosting white nationalist Nick Fuentes on his podcast in late October.
Did you see that interview, by the way?
You know what? I only watched parts of it because actually I thought it was kind of boring.
It was, but it had a couple of moments.
Which ones?
My favorite is probably the one where the far-right Nazi goes, "I really like Stalin."
I didn't see that. Oh, fucking communist. I didn't see that, but... which is ironic, given how much Stalin lacks charisma in every way.
Yeah, but I guess he was a bit of a role model in terms of... I mean, hey, he kept power over a large federal state until he died, mostly because everyone was literally butt-clenchingly scared of him, so...
But I bet Stalin's wife wasn't even like, oh, hey, I like Stalin. Anyway, so the whole thing with this is that Nick Fuentes is characterized as a Nazi because he trollishly was constantly going about how much he loves Hitler.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like a reasonable characterization. The problem that I have with it is I think it's giving Fuentes far too much credit.
That's a good way of putting it, but I agree, yes.
Right? So now I actually, and I just want to be clear to any groupers who stumbled on the stream. I'm actually quite friendly with Nick. Like we'll DM each other every now and again, and I don't dislike him. I actually quite like him, even if he's gay. So I'm not attacking him personally or anything like that. But the facts are as the facts are. Now, Adolf Hitler led the German National Socialist Party and conducted vast rallies. He was elected, took over the country, launched a massive war, and did various horrific things. Nick Fuentes does podcasts on Rumble. Now
he does not live up to the...
Yeah. There is no German National Socialist Workers' Party. There is... He doesn't do arena lectures. He doesn't have any access to political power. It doesn't look like he's going to get any on the horizon. Nick Fuentes is essentially a cultural and political commentator. So while I appreciate that he says a lot of really edgy things, I think we can limit the scope of what we are calling Nick Fuentes, because the Nazi movement died in, like, what was it, 1948 or whatever, whenever the war ended, 1945. And all of the Nazis are now dead. All of them.
Yep.
Right? So there might be like one 100-year-old old granny or something, but basically all of the Nazis are dead. The cultural infrastructure that made Nazism happen is gone because that period of time has passed. So calling someone a Nazi is like calling someone a Soviet. It's like there are no Soviets, even if you believe the things the Soviets believe. You are not a Soviet. You are just a retard on the internet, as so many people are. And so Nick Fuentes is just a retard on the internet who happens to be quite popular. So shrieking about him being a Nazi is honestly giving him far too much credit.
And it's also just the thing, like the entire thing about right-wingism in America. America has never had a Nazi movement. The closest they came was the Silver Legion, which boasted like 15,000 members, which is nothing.
Yeah.
And if I would love to see somebody bring that back today, considering their uniform sported a giant red L.
Are you ready to rut this yellow?
Another point to make as well is that liking Hitler is not actually sufficient to make you a Nazi. Lots of people around the world right now really like Hitler, and they are not Nazis. Many of them are Indians or Orientals. They fucking love Hitler. Yep. They think Hitler is fucking great, and they're not Nazis. So I'm very tired of this. Everyone's a Nazi, and the mythologization and demonization, the turning Hitler into the modern Satan. I'm very tired of this. And honestly, it opens the door to very good and effective trolling by someone like Nick Fuentes when you do that. Because he began his career basically cancelled by Ben Shapiro, he was free to be as outlandish and edgy as he wanted to be. And this meant flying in the face of the orthodoxy of modernity. And the orthodoxy of modernity since what year did the war end in? It was 45, wasn't it?
1945 in Europe, yes.
Yeah, just checking. Since 1945, the orthodoxy is everything about Hitler and Nazism is the worst and most titanic evil, and therefore the opposite must be good. And that's not true. Hitler was not really that much of an evil compared to the rest of human history. He was just fairly stock and trade in evil. I'm going to kill a bunch of people, launch wars, and conquer territory. That's really quite a normal level of evil, actually. I mean, you can go back as far as you like, and right up to, like, the Napoleonic Wars. Frankly, like there are huge numbers of people who have died expressly for the purpose of being what they were, right? Like this again, like Hitler's the Holocaust is a unique evil. It's like, well, there are loads of peoples throughout history who have been genocided. There are loads, and many of them now don't exist. So don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to minimize or downplay the horror of the Holocaust, but humanity has done lots of Holocausts. So Hitler is basically the most recent one. That's why he's most interesting. And allowing him to take up the totemic, essentially sort of counter symbol of the regime also allows those people who are not happy with the regime to say, right, okay, well, we know what side we land on. Because this is a really common refrain. It's like, oh, we fought the wrong enemy. We should have been fighting the Soviets rather than the Nazis. It's like, look, man, I don't agree with that either. We shouldn't have been siding with the Nazis. Like, unfortunately, like it or lump it, we have to side with our own countries because it's our countries and not the enemy who we were fighting, which is the Nazis. Even if you don't necessarily agree with the outcome of the war, we still have to side with our own. So that's just one of those things where I've never had any sympathy for Hitler simping. I've always found it fucking cringe. But in particular, it's like you are very ideological if you can just be like, yeah, I actually support our enemy. Well, I don't support our enemy, even if he's not Mecha Satan, you know? And so anyway, yeah, Adolf Hitler is a very convenient way of someone who opposes the regime and who has been cancelled building a way of essentially trolling people into paying attention to him. And that's what Nick Fuentes has done.
Yep, Hitler is the bad man, as again, he did not do anything uniquely evil. He was just another evil man. And One thing that is often funny to think about is that there is actually a word for the persecution of the Jews. It's pogrom. It's been in use since the 1700s.
Yeah.
It was so common, we decided it was worth inventing a specific term for.
Yep. And it's something that's just happened over and over and over. And it's not just happened to the Jews. So, there we go. So anyway, like this whole whole thing is thereby an axis around which political loyalties are created. And in the United States, because of course the United States was in opposition to Adolf Hitler, the American boomers have a weird relationship to Israel. They not only have the kind of political relationship post World War II, but they also have a kind of religious relationship with Israel. And as an atheist who is not from America, I have to admit I've always found it a bit weird.
Well, a lot of it has to do with family and lineage as well, and heritage. Like it is very much so an identity. Like one of the primary strengths of the Jewish community, and one of the reasons why it's been targeted so often, is because it has always had a very strong and effective in-group preference. That in combination with the fact that it has certain religious creeds on what work they can and cannot do, and simply a different understanding of what is considered honorable labor, too.
I wasn't even thinking about the Jewish community, to be honest. I was thinking about the evangelicals in America, because they have a kind of messianic view of the state of Israel. It has religious tones, overtones to the American Protestant Christians, and they donate loads of money personally to Israel and things like this. So right, okay, they go on pilgrimages to Israel, and it's like, right, okay, I don't get this. This is not something that I support, but this gives Israel, the state, and Jewish people more broadly, massive support on the American right.
That it does, yes.
And I think that this has been leveraged by cynical politicians like Benjamin Netanyahu into, and via the sort of mechanism of AIPAC,
Heresy's the question.
into
the answer.
working against, well, I mean, the argument they would say is it's working against America's interests, and therefore American foreign policy is Israel first and not America first.
Let's see. As a quick number as well, so I looked it up. Charitable private donations given to Israel was at $2.91 billion from the US in 2015. And it has reportedly risen since then. So, yeah, that is... I didn't even know about that. That's a lot of money.
Yeah. But the thing is, that's fine, because that's charitable donations. People can conduct any kind of charity they want. And if American boomers want to send their money to Israel, it's a free world, right? It's the amount of money that the US government gives to Israel that I think a lot of people take exception to, particularly in the Democrats, but also in what I guess we'll call the Nick Fuentes area of the right, which I think is a lot more of a valid critique and complaint, because, well, what's going on there? Why is America constantly funding Israel?
Well, the overall funding is, of course, quite a lot. I think... Here we go. In excess of 300 billion. Let's see. Since 1946, which is quite a bit of cash, yes. And a lot of that is, of course, military, as a lot of the Israeli military consists of,
Are
well,
you ready to
American
wreck this
stuff.
yellow marriage
To the point
pottery
that one of the
pottery
primary reasons why Israel decided to not carry out a preemptive strike before the Yom Kippur War was because the Americans threatened to withhold replacement parts, spare parts for their aircraft and vehicles. And that was so big of a threat, because all of it came from America, that Israel elected to not carry out the preemptive strike.
Shit.
Yes, and so Israel is well aware that it is American backing that keeps their country sovereign and, well, honestly, keeps it on the map, right? If America pulls its support from Israel militarily, then actually Israel is vulnerable. And this is what I believe is called the Samson option, is their response, which is allegedly 200 nuclear warheads that Israel has trained on basically everyone in the local area. I don't even know who else they've got it trained on, but basically, world capitals everywhere as a kind of last resort. So it's like, right, okay. So that's a bit insane if you think about it. And the thing is, the Netanyahu in particular is obviously a militant warmonger, and it's a bit concerning, right? There's a lot of quite messianic rhetoric that comes out of the Israeli parliament, not from all of the politicians, but from some of them. And you get the odd clip that goes around, and you're like, Jesus Christ, what do these fucking fruitcakes believe, But the thing is, there are people all around the world who are fruitcakes and who believe in all sorts of fruity things. The question is, why is America giving fruitcakes $300 billion a year? And that's one of the main sort of points on which Tucker Carlson and Ted Cruz had a significant disagreement when Tucker interviewed Ted. And the question of his AIPAC donations came up. Do you want to get the AIPAC donation tracker up? Because it's a lot of money that the Israel lobby gives to American politicians. And I totally understand why Americans are not happy with a foreign nation basically engaged in such large scale institutionalized bribery. I don't want any foreign country paying off my politicians to any amount, because obviously this creates a huge bias. I think that my politicians should be for my country, and foreign politicians should be for foreign countries. If you go down, is there like a top to bottom, highest, most endorsed?
Not that I can see right off the bat.
Well, let's go for Ted Cruz, since we're talking about his interview with Tucker.
Ted.
If just search at the top. There we go. Ted Cruz.
Can I smell your feet?
So Ted Cruz explained to Tucker what happened here, right, with all of this. And basically, look at these are not small numbers. Right? Ted Cruz himself's taken nearly $2 million from AIPAC. And so they'll have dinners, they'll get wealthy donors who want to support Israel, come to their things. And apparently, you're given a QR code, and the donor will scan your QR code and donate on the spot if they like you.
That's weird.
Right? That is very weird, isn't it?
That's like sci-fi novel shit. Like, you've got the politicians lined up selling themselves in the hope that some guy will come by and scan their QR code.
Exactly, that some pro-Israel donor will come by and literally scan them to give them like a few $100,000. And it's like, that's weird. And so Ted Cruz defends this in the interview with Tucker, because Ted Cruz is an American conservative evangelical, right? So I don't know if he's actually an evangelical, but he's that mindset where they have never had a critical thought about Israel and have never been encouraged to, because of the attitude, the prevailing attitude through the 20th century on the relationship between Israel and America, and also between, I guess we'll call it the West and jihad. Because one way that Israel is able to leverage itself in these conversations is saying, well, look, we're against the Muslims. We're against jihad. And the American Christians are like, well, Jesus Christ, we don't like the Muslims. We don't like jihad. So thank God for Israel, right? So Israel seems like an unvarnished good. Now, I'm not even saying Israel isn't a useful ally in this either. I'm sure Israel is a useful ally in this. But what this does is creates a blind spot for the conservative right. And it would have been better if this blind spot had been addressed prior, because what it means is you have interests that are being manipulated through financial transactions like this, corporate lobbying, foreign lobbying, and it has distorted the appropriate relationship between Israel and the United States. Israel should be deeply grateful to the United States, and instead you get a kind of attitude
Are you
of
ready to wreck
contempt,
this yellow mare's
frankly,
fluttery buttery?
because it looks like the politicians have been bought and paid for, and in a way, it seems that they kind of have been. And so this is an issue whose time has come, and this is what Ted Cruz and Tucker Carlson had an argument about. And so when Tucker Carlson platformed Nick Fuentes, who has been making this point for a very long time, the thing exploded. Everyone freaked the fuck out. And the thing is, it kind of looks like Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes are winning.
Yes, I would actually say so very much, as I did come across a interesting little thing on this as well. Let me see if I can find it. There we go. So, yeah, here are some of the views here, with a little bit of a comparison between the Ben Shapiro and the Tucker Carlson video.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is not great for the Ben side of things.
No. And there was a particular tweet where Ben Shapiro tweeted something like, no to Nick Fuentes, no to, this sort of stuff. And Fuentes had replied being like, well, no to Ben Shapiro, no to all this sort of stuff. And Fuentes' tweet was far more well received than Ben Shapiro's. And so it seems that the relevance of the sort of, 2016 Ben Shapiro owning college students as pro-America, pro-liberty, blah, 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 that it looks like that's on the wane. And that aspect of American conservatism has been essentially outflanked by what I think the most charitable way of describing Fuentes and Carlson is as paleocons. So I just want to be clear. I think that I'm not unnecessarily doing down anyone in these descriptions, because like I said, I don't have any personal hatred for anyone involved in this. I don't mind Ben Shapiro. I don't care about Israel. I don't mind Ted Cruz. I don't care about Israel. I don't mind evangelicals. I don't mind Tucker Carlson. I don't mind Nick Fuentes. To me, they're all just sort of like faces on a screen, right? So I haven't got any personal investment in any of it. So I'm trying to just accurately characterize what these things are. And so, do you feel I've mischaracterized anything so far, Arch?
You did get the numbers to Israel wrong. You had a couple of zeros, but I assume that was a misspeak, as it's 3 billion a year, not 300.
Oh, I thought you said 300.
Yeah, 300 billion in total since 1946.
Oh, right, okay. Right, sorry, I misheard that. Right, okay, yeah, fair enough. But still, 3 billion a year.
Still a fair bit of fucking cash. And again, that is the US funding, and that, of course, increased in wartime, and that is in addition to the 2 billion a year private funding, so...
Yeah. So the point being, I think just worthwhile doing from just a quick thing from the other side, right? So Israel is in an insecure position and always has been, obviously.
Yes.
Historically, one of the problems with the Levant generally is it's basically defenseless. It's never been ever in its entire history
I have
a place
lost.
that could be defended. On one side, you've got, of course, Egypt, which is always a giant and populous state. It has been centralized for about 5,000 years
Trick or
now,
treat. Can I
and has always
smell
been
your
powerful and able to express its power beyond the Sinai Peninsula. And on the other side, you've always had, in fact, to the north, historically, you've had the Hittites and you've had various Syrian states. And then to the east, you've had the Assyrians and the Babylonians and the Persians. And they've always just been able to walk around the Fertile Crescent, which just happens to follow a bunch of major rivers, happens to be incredibly fertile and flat. So it's actually really easy to get to the Levant, to Israel. And so Israel has been conquered many, many, many times over the centuries until it was eventually disestablished. Well, it was disestablished initially by the Assyrians, but then Judea was disestablished by the Romans. And that's when the diaspora of the Jews began. And so you can understand why, from the perspective of the Israelis, they would be nervous about basically everything all the time. And so they would want to engage in clandestine operations to make people's pages blow up and whatnot, to keep their enemies disorganized and unable to properly cohere into an effective fighting force against them. You can see why they would be so militarily conscious, and you can see why they would spend a lot of money through various means making sure that American politicians are on their side. Like, actually, from their perspective, this is all quite rational. Like, it makes quite a lot of sense, and in some ways, it's been genuinely tactically brilliant. Like, some things the Israelis have accomplished, you've got to, from a military perspective, you've got to take your hat off and be like, okay, that was impressive. But that's not the question, really, because the amount of what is perceived to be undue influence that Israel has over American politicians was originally brought to the fore by someone like Pat Buchanan in the 90s. And then Pat Buchanan was basically cancelled. And this issue hasn't gone away. And so people can still see what's happening, still see the AIPAC tracker, as it were. And this makes the concept of America first something questionable. And people want answers, I think. I don't think that most of it is actually driven by, maybe a lot of it is driven by a rabid hatred of Israel and Jews, but I think a lot of people aren't just rabid Jew haters. They're just worried about, well, why is my country essentially dedicated to Israel? I mean, if that's the case, if Israel is like essentially a vassal of America, shouldn't America have a lot more say over Israel than the other way around?
Yes. So the entire history of Israel, of course, is a long and fascinating one, and it absolutely justifies Israel's actions in this from their side. Israel was created in an incredibly hostile area. Most of the people who created Israel essentially expected it to be wiped out by the Arab population.
And Lord, did they try?
Yeah, and it's basically an open secret at this point that during the 1948 war, Israel went to the proto-UN. They appealed for aid from European countries, etc. Listen, we're going to get attacked. And they were mostly ignored, as the establishment of Israel was, in a fair few ways, conspiracy theory-esque, kind of a way to get rid of the problem. But the Israelis defied all expectations. They not only won that war, but now, having established themselves, grew into a very militaristic society, very aware of the threats surrounding them, to the point where today, the peace of Israel is primarily guaranteed by the fact that every time there's been a war, they've beaten the absolute shit out of everyone.
Yeah. And I mean, the Arabs have never, in modern times, properly distinguished themselves in war anyway. So this is probably the sole reason that Israel is still around, frankly, is that they've had the fortune to fight Arabs and not someone else. But yeah, so it's been a rough ride. You can see why the Israelis be paranoid. And you can see why they would leverage everything that they can get to find something that approaches security.
Yes.
But
from their point of view, they will want to use any means necessary because they are genuinely convinced, and not without reason, that this is necessary for their survival.
Yes. However,
this is not America's concern.
Well, it you know, it is though, right? Through the evangelicals, it kind of is America's concern. I mean, the amount of money that America has put into Israel, why not? You know, you've paid for it. But there is a point at which the concern for Israel supersedes the concern for America, and this is a legitimate question for what I guess we can call the Pat Buchanan right, the two leading lights of which are Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson. And so what I found interesting about the Nick Fuentes Tucker Carlson conversation was the kind of, how to put it, like father-son nature of it. Like there was a strange sort of familiarity to it, right? Because Nick Fuentes had been going on about Tucker Carlson. He'd been attacking Tucker on his podcast, saying that his dad was a Fed, and his dad was a Fed. He was in the CIA, and that therefore Tucker Carlson's a Fed. And it's like, well, I mean, if anyone's going to be a Fed, it's probably Tucker Carlson, right? And I say this as a fan of Tucker Carlson. I've loved Tucker Carlson for a long time.
What? If anyone's going to be a Fed, it's going to be Tucker Carlson. Yeah.
Well, that's true, right? I mean, like don't get me wrong. I love Tucker. I think he's great. Back when I first started deciding, I think this liberalism stuff's a bit nonsense. One of the people who was dragging me to the right was Tucker Carlson with his monologues on Fox News, just making very reasonable sounding arguments that weren't based in ideology, that were based in like human relations and about dignity and propriety. And I was like, God, it is making a lot of fucking sense, you know? And I think a lot of people felt that way. Because this is the kind of pre-rational political environment that the Buchanan right actually lives in. It lives in the area of sentiment and relations and bonds and honor and respect, right? Now, I'm not sure that Nick Fuentes is the best representative of that, but he's a fucking Zoomer. What do you expect, right? Tucker is actually a really good representative of that. And so this conversation had a kind of feeling of anointing in it, where Tucker Carlson, obviously supremely famous, supremely popular, and a very smart guy, gives incredible speeches. And it looked to me like Tucker was essentially saying to Nick, if you clean up your act a bit, I will accept you in my club. I will accept you as kind of like heir to the Buchanan right. Which is genuinely quite a seismic thing. Because, I mean, like, Nick Fuentes is very outsider. And Pat Buchanan himself was always accused of being an anti-Semite, but I don't think he was. I've been scouring the Twitter feeds of all those people going, he's an anti-Semite. It's like, okay, well, what's the quote? He's like, he was critical of Israel. He was critical of Israel's influence over the politicians. It's like, okay, I don't think that makes you an anti-Semite, actually. So, you know, that's not terribly convincing to me. And it feels like actually something quite important has happened here. And it's kind of cute as well. Because, like I said, I personally really like Tucker. And I don't dislike Nick at all. I actually quite, on a personal level, like, you know, you see the clips of Nick, even if you don't agree with what he's saying, he is funny. Like, he is funny to listen to. So, you know, I don't mind Nick either. And so it's interesting seeing, because obviously the left is just 100% anti-Israel at this point. There's no pro-Israel sentiment left on the left. But the right is the last bastion of it. And so Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes forming a particularly powerful alliance. Not necessarily, I mean, Fuentes obviously very anti-Israel, but with Tucker, not even necessarily anti-Israel, more pro just asking questions. I think that being the most charitable way you could describe Carlson, it turns into a remarkable alliance, and you can see the old guard are freaking out about this.
I think you're right in that. It is very much so. Like Tucker Carlson is now a very, very large and central figure on the right, reaching out and, in essence, pulling Nick Fuentes in closer to the warmth, so to say. As it's kind of entertaining how we now have almost feudal court politics going on in public via podcasts.
Right? That's a great way of describing it, because that's exactly what it feels like.
Yeah.
And it's very, like I said, it's very personal, right? But sorry, go on. I'll interrupt you.
No, like it really is how it is. Like how in the olden days the king would call over a person in the middle of a large gathering, and being seen, spoken to him, gave you gravitas. It showed to everybody else that, okay, you're in the warmth now. Similarly, if you weren't invited to court, you were clearly an outcast, and so on.
Yes, and that's been Fuentes' entire career on the right at this point. And it was because of Ben Shapiro, who's the guy who originally cancelled him.
Whereas now, you can clearly tell who currently has the king's favor, and it is not Ben Shapiro. In fact, the very idea that Tucker Carlson would go to Nick Fuentes is in and of itself, or invite him to him, is a snub to Ben Shapiro and his side of the right.
Yeah, and that's interesting because there's fractures in Ben Shapiro's camp as well. If the Daily Wire is Ben Shapiro's castle, well, I mean, Michael Knowles and Matt Walsh are both basically Pat Buchananites. They're both a part of the Buchanan right, really. And so, they've already lost Candace Owens, who's, well, a bit mad, really. But I don't dislike either, actually. I like mad commentators. I like when commentators go out on limbs to do weird and freaky things, even if I don't agree with them. I love to see it. So, like, it's not all sunny and rainbows at the Daily Wire over this.
No, it is not. Now, the question at the end of the day also then comes down to what the public will support, and that is also what is kind of coming out in the numbers here as well. It doesn't seem like MAGA seems to be by far the one having the most strength and the most relevance in this. There does appear to be the idea that MAGA actually means America first. And that also means that America is going to need to have a long and a hard look at its various dependents across the world. And Trump has gained a tremendous amount of popularity for going to the UN and basically telling them, listen, start paying your fucking bills. And if there is any group of people that has more bills owed to the US than Israel, I don't know of them.
Yes, indeed. And so this has been quite upsetting for the boomer normies in the Republican movement. So the Ted Cruzes, the Ben Shapiros, and in particular Mark Levine, who seems to be honestly freaking out and going on a personal crusade. Can we play some of his speech from the other day?
All right. Which clip is it?
It's just a YouTube video I sent to you.
All right. The full speech, Mark Levin, that one.
Yeah, we don't have to listen to the whole thing, but if we can listen to like the first 5 minutes or so, like just to get an impression of the energy that he's bringing to this.
Here we go.
He scrubbed through to
the speech.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go through the history of Western civilization. I'm not going to go through the history of the United States. I'm not going to go through the history of Israel. That doesn't get us very far right now. I'm not going to do an after-action report either. It is my greatest hope that the people who are appearing at this wonderful organization RJC, who've come up here and spoken to you, will do what they say they're going to do. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. For 6 months, I've been fighting these bastards, whether it's Tucker Carlson or whether it's Nick Fuentes, and I've been looking over my shoulder looking for help. And you know what I found? Nothing. Nothing. We're here today to do something about this. Now, first of all, my wife, my mother-in-law, my dear friend, Ron, Rhoda, all of you, Norm. I can't see, the lights are in my eyes. Anyway, what do you mean we don't cancel people? We canceled David Duke. Donald Trump canceled David Duke. We canceled Pat Buchanan. We canceled the John Birch Society. We canceled Joseph Sobran. We canceled pornography on TV. We cancel stuff all the damn time. Hitler admirers, Stalin admirers, Jew haters, American haters, Churchill haters. You're damn right we're going to cancel them and deplatform them. It's called the market system. They don't have a lifetime job like a bureaucrat who we're going to protect. And if they're your friend, there's something wrong with you. No Hitler admirer, Holocaust denier, platformer should be anybody's friend, as a matter of fact. You don't get to wrap your psychotic, mental, unhinged, Nazi, Klan, jihadist bullshit around American patriotism. You don't get to claim you're MAGA and America first when you're lining up with the Marxists and the Islamists and Hamas and the terrorists. That's not America first. That's sick. Now, I don't need more than 15 minutes. The cowards. We're surrounded by cowards who have microphones, who have TV cameras, who have websites, who have columns. Cowards. It's spelled C-A-R-L-S-O-N. It's spelled F-U-E-N-T-E-S. It's spelled O-W-E-N-S. It's spelled B-A-N-N-O-N. It's spelled Marjorie Trader Green. You can figure that out yourself. And they're not alone. How are we going to attack the Mondamis and the Talibs and the Omars and the Sanders and the rest of them when in our own house this poison is spreading? We've got to take care of business. We can fight the enemy on the other side. But the problem is, the more daunting problem, the more complicated problem is when they're in our house and they're trying to take over our house and they're burning down our house. And they're destroying America First, and they're destroying MAGA, and they're destroying the Republican Party, which means they're destroying the country. Either speak up and stand out, but don't be a pretender. Don't be a pretender.
Okay, so is it just me, or does this come across as incredibly defensive?
Yeah. And also, is this good optics at the Republican Jewish coalition?
No.
Say this is our house. We own America first. Therefore, that's going to be Israel first. Is that good optics? I'm not sure that it is. And I think that it kind of
Service guarantees.
I mean, if you're on the I guess the Buchanan right, yeah, you do cancel. That's the argument. Yes, that's correct. You do cancel. Good point. That's a problem, isn't it? You know, if essentially what Mark is admitting to here is having held down a kind of authentic American nativism for a long time. And that's what I think we see coming out with Fuentes and Carlson. And so actually admitting to that is not a great strategy, frankly.
Yeah. This sounds like fear to me. This is like, holy shit. We thought we had control. We didn't. Where are all of our friends? Where all of our allies went? Did we actually not control any of this at all? And now we're here and isolated. And even like that, oh, we will cancel you. Think of these other things. Like, you don't have the power. You sound to me like the left, who is like, wait, hold on. Why aren't we destroying our enemies anymore? Because you don't have the power to do so anymore.
Yeah, it's pretty mad, isn't it?
It is. Like, that just feels like a drowning man speech right there. And again, as you say too, the statement, like, it's our house. Like, we're the ones who own you. Like, I don't think you quite understand the meaning of MAGA in that case.
Well, I mean, and if that's what you think the meaning of MAGA is, essentially what you're doing is validating all of those things that Fuentes and Carlson are saying. Actually,
Service guarantees
you are
citizenship.
actually advocating for their position by saying all of this, which is not sensible, right? I mean, you would think that the Republican Jewish coalition and that sort of those people inclined would not think of themselves as the prime movers of the America First movement, because they of course have a foreign country that they're most concerned with.
Trick or treat. Can I smell your feet?
It does show that kind of opinion on certain organizations that America is supposed to be, well, the vassal of Israel rather than the other way around.
Yeah, and so it's one of those things where it's a conversation that has to be had. Its time has come, because the thing I think that Mark Levine here is so upset about is because basically there's nowhere else to go for them at this point. The left has lost the cause of Israel. They've lost the left very successfully with the war with Gaza, and basically what the last thing is the right is the last refuge that they have in American politics.
Yes, because the left was only ever going to be a temporary harbor at the best of times. Israel as a state is practically an antithesis to everything the left wants. They need the right. They have no home on the left. And even if they do gain a home on the left, it is only going to last up until the next terrorist attack, and Israel does what Israel does.
Or it's going to last until Muslims become a large enough demographic in America.
Yeah. So it's there's no hope on the left for Israel.
No. And so you can see why Mark suddenly sounds so angry and defensive, because I think he's like, oh, right, are we about to essentially get kicked out of American politics? And this is why Ben Shapiro also sounds so defensive, so honestly crusadery about it. It's like, no, we are going to cancel you. It's like, okay, but I don't know, man. I feel like the era of canceling people for wrongthink has actually passed us by. Like, you know, how are you going to force Elon Musk to deplatform Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes? Elon brought Fuentes back.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing is, like, the power of cancel culture has shifted dramatically, as was demonstrated with the aftermath of Charlie Kirk. And you can also see a lot of confusion on the sides that used to use cancel culture as a weapon, wondering why the stick isn't working anymore. And there's also a lot of healthy fear on the left now about being the target of aforementioned stick. And it's
great.
It is. It's the first thing that has ever made, like, primary left-wing commentators start going, like, free speech is pretty important, but thank you.
I love that Hassan Pike is getting nervous these days.
Yeah, like, that is what we had to do. And it's what we've been arguing for, like, 10 years. Listen, these people don't have a principled stance. They must experience the consequences of their actions.
Welcome to our world, Hassan.
And we've been fully validated. Fully validated in that.
Yep. And like, just to be clear, I would rather if no one got cancelled, no matter what, right? I think that actually, essentially, I think in the future this will become the case. After a few generations of basically eternally online people, I get the feeling that eventually there will be some kind of digital bill of rights that makes a person's
I have
profile
lost.
essentially sacrosanct, right? It'll be like a human right to have access to a social media platform.
Yes, because what's going to happen now is that the left will be exposed to everything it did, and it's only even beginning. It's going to get worse, I think.
Yeah.
Which is going to make them convinced that, okay, we need certain protected rights, and there's going to be a little bit of back and forth, but eventually we will have to either have a destruction event, which I don't think we'll have, or we have to just finally agree that, okay, clearly we need some laws around this.
Yeah, and it's actually a really simple thing to say. Everyone is entitled to their social media account.
Yeah.
No matter who they are, no matter what they do, no matter what they say, everyone is entitled to their social media account. It's that simple, and that solves the problem for everyone.
Yes. We already have systems like this on other things we consider utilities. We, in essence, need to draw up a form of utilitarian agreement on this. We're like, okay, you can go online, you have a social media account, you have a right to it. It can't be taken away from you unless by literal court order, if you do something particularly serious. And we'll probably even have to end up regulating algorithms, because right now, one of the weirdest things that is happening is that people on certain social media platforms, like Twitter, was experimenting with this, trying to have AI determine the algorithm for them. So we're not even using an algorithm anymore. We're using an AI to look at what you search on online, and the AI then decides, I think you like this.
Yeah, can't say I'm a fan.
No, the idea of a robot curating my social media feed it's weirdly disturbing.
I'd rather just be exposed to random things than the fucking AI.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, we don't need to watch that much more. We don't need to watch more of Mark here, because you can see that this has been this ability to be critical of the narrative of World War II is basically been received like an absolute shit sandwich by these people, which is not surprising, and you can understand, why from their point of view. This would be like, well, hang on, what the fuck are we doing here?
And
like,
again,
sorry.
This was absolutely a hole that they dug for themselves. Like,
yes,
the establishment of the narrative around World War II is utterly sacrosanct as a mythical event. The numbers going up and down on a fucking yearly basis in certain countries.
Yeah,
it was when you create such a sacred cow, it is inevitable that someone will look at it and go, "Why is this so important to you?"
Especially if you tie that sacred cow to criticism of yourselves more broadly. Like, oh, criticism of Israel, you must be an anti-Semite. I mean, my goodness. How many times have we heard that refrain? And it's one of the reasons why I'm just not interested in talking about Israel. It's like I don't want the slop, the sludge flinging that comes with it. I'm just not interested. It's, I don't have a vested interest, therefore why would I bother? But this is an issue that's become so politically salient at this point that it's really worth discussing in some way. And honestly, I appreciate there are going to be people who are not happy with how we're discussing this, but honestly, I think we're being a lot more reasonable than a lot of other people are, Frank, on this issue.
Well, at the very least, we can state that we are coming from a fairly neutral position.
Yeah, well, exactly. I've got no interests either way, right? But I appreciate there will be a bunch of people who will be angry that we're not just taking a partisan line. But frankly, I think that we're right to be neutral about this, because there's a great Jeff Bezos quote that I saw the other day, which is whenever you keep getting repeated complaints about something, but your telemetry tells you that there's no problem, the telemetry is the issue, right? And it's the same sort of thing with this question of Israel's influence in American politics, where if it keeps coming up, there must be a problem with it, and you can only keep a lid on it for so long. And I think this is one of those things where, well, frankly, the Democrats are not supporting the Republican Zionists against the Buchanan right anymore, because the Democrats also hate Israel, and therefore the Buchanan right, the Zionist right in the Republicans are finding themselves completely alone. And well, as Levine shows, they're getting scared, and they're probably right to be.
I do think they are right to be, because again, like, this is clearly a very major shift that's happening right now, and the problem is, as you say, like, a lot of this has been like evangelical, very religious. I think you're going to have a difficult time convincing a lot of neutral people why this is a good thing. Like, if you show this clip to most normies, I imagine they're going to come away with much the same reading. Like, who is this drowning man screaming at me?
Yeah. And also, why is this my problem? Is the question that essentially the Zoomers are asking. Sorry, I can't buy a house. Sorry, I can't get a job. Sorry, America is changing, and the life that my parents led, which was a normal and humble life, but tended towards prosperity after enough hard work. Well, that looks like it's increasingly out of reach for the Zoomers. It's like, okay, well, they're going to go to like Zohan Mamamdi or whatever, because he's at least promising something. And what's the argument on the right? It's like, no, more of the same, more of the same, more of the same. And so I'm not surprised you're losing people.
Let me go over a few of the super chats that have been piling up too. I'm sure there's a lot of yelling at us in there as well.
Yeah, no, you go on. Sorry, we can take it. We're big boys.
The Ancient Thor becomes a member. Thank you very much, sir. Luke Stewart, good day. I hope you guys are doing well. I would love to get your opinion on the video Gen Z from liberal to far right by the right-wing coalition.
I haven't seen that, but
I haven't heard of it.
if you send us a link or something, we could look at it next week.
Right. A quick Google search doesn't actually give me a result. Let me see on YouTube. If I can. From liberal to far right. 40 minutes. We barely get through a 20-minute video.
Yeah, but it might be quite good. Arch, do me a favor, send me a link to it and I'll
Gen
watch
Z
it.
has
And
witnessed
we'll see if it's worth doing.
Open it up and ship it over to you. Yeah.
Thank you.
CyberGod Kek, want to get an Israeli online? I'm up.
No. To be honest, I appreciate it, but I don't want to actually discuss it. I don't want to discuss it with Nick Fuentes, and I don't want to discuss it with an Israeli for the same reasons. You're both deeply invested in the subject, and I'm not.
And
So
hey,
we're giving you outsider positions.
I get it. I understand. You are surrounded by people
yeah.
who want you dead. You want to defend yourself. Fuck yeah. Go on. Go ahead.
Yep. Which is why I don't spend all my time spurging about Israel. Like, I'm not saying that Israel hasn't got a legit cause to fight for or defend themselves on. Like, I wouldn't want to be surrounded by Muslim states either.
Oh yeah, 100%. If I was in Israel's position, rest assured, I would want to do exactly the same thing.
Yeah. However, there's a question of proportionality and honestly undue influence that has gone unanswered, that is being answered now, and that you can't get away from that, I'm afraid.
Mm-hmm. Pirate King Thizar, Leighton French. Carlson Casimir. The crux of the argument is simple. America first doesn't mean America first. This is why it's such a large coalition, and why America first criticism of Trump is common. Pay attention, Ben.
Correct.
Mick Discourse. If I listened to Mark Levine, the Carlson Fuentes interview was them throwing Roman salutes and shouting Heil Hitler for 2 hours.
Yes, that is exactly his opinion. And that is exactly not what the Carlson interview was.
Darn to go. Ben here. Hi, Arch and Sargon, Agent 47, or James Bond. Well, if it's the good James Bond, then James Bond. If it's Daniel Craig, then
I mean, Daniel Craig's at least an Englishman. It's not fucking Sean Connery.
close. Yeah, but Sean Connery wasn't even the best one. It was Pierce Brosnan.
Roger Moore was pretty good too, but Pierce Brosnan, I agree with you, probably the best.
Yeah. Pierce Brosnan, he just looked perfect. That was the thing. And
Yeah.
the worst part is he was really cursed with his movies because his movies were not great.
But it wasn't his fault. Honestly, it's the Henry Cavill effect. It's like, oh, you've got a great actor. Yeah, that's a shame.
Yes. I mean, GoldenEye, like the problem is GoldenEye was so good, it basically excused everything else. But I rewatched them recently and Die Another Day it's really
I
bad.
actually haven't seen them in years. Absolute years.
It's so much worse than you remember, I guarantee it.
Oh no, really?
Oh, yes.
Really? Oh no.
Oh yeah. The CGI in Die Another Day is some of the worst I have ever seen. Like it looks like a Pepsi commercial or something.
Okay, well that sucks. I'm just gonna grab a drink, so if you want to go through a few more of these, I'll be back in a sec.
Yep. Cybergod Keck, I am Israeli. I worked in the military complex. And I'm more white than both of you. Get me on the show. There's nobody more white than me. Literally impossible. Tanushi. For me, Tucker lost his credibility after he got bum-rushed by Putin's history lecture. You see, Tucker, white supremacy goes back to the Danelaw. Now, to be fair, yes, that was not a strong interview by Tucker, but I feel like... So, Putin's story there was obviously two-pronged. One, yes, Ukraine didn't exist until quite recently. That's true. That is actually reality. And Putin, of course, was trying to build a narrative that Ukraine was basically a made-up state and that it was just more Russia. And he was going to base that in a lengthy political and historical diatribe that Tucker was very unlikely to be familiar with, and so also territory that Tucker would not want to step into, which he guessed correctly. Furthermore, Putin also correctly guessed that Tucker would not have the balls to go, Mr. President of fucking Russia, shut up. So, yeah, I mean, did Tucker do a great job? No. Would anyone have done a better job? I don't know about that. Anti-hero, maybe, has been on for 18 months. Good evening, gentlemen. Since 40k is dying, I'm looking for new reading material and would appreciate some recommendations. Greetings from Germany. Well, honestly, I would highly recommend going back in time to basically old science fiction dime store novels. Read The Moon is a Harsh Mistress. Read Caves of Steel. Read The Federation. Read The I, Robot. Short stories. Starship Troopers. The Cryptonomicon. Go back in time, sir, and you will find an incredible wealth of books written by the masters like Isaac Asimov that'll keep you entertained for a very, very long time.
Are you ready to rut this yellow mare's fluttery buttery butt?
Brendan, for $50, thank you very much, sir. Unfortunately, the Israel First sentiment comes from boomers wanting a base in the Middle East against the Soviets and dispensated evangelicals, which was a weird rabbit hole. It is a generational thing that'll pass eventually, and milking farm. Now, that actually is a very important point as well, yes. A lot of the original interest in Israel in the Middle East was as a foothold and as a counterweight to Soviet influence, as the Soviets, of course, basically invested in all of the Arab powers, and they invested ever more into the Arab powers as the Arab powers failed time and time again to actually do anything worthwhile militarily. As a great deal of Soviet military promise and force and gravitas on the national stage, or international stage, was actually defeated again and again by the failure of the Arab states to actually demonstrate any sort of worthwhile power for Soviet weaponry. one of the reasons why the Yom Kippur War began so well for Egypt, for example, was the deployment of YouTube. This is a weapon. Large number of Soviet faggots, as in the ATGM. I'm sorry, YouTube. It's what it's fucking called. Yell at the Soviets, not me. Which effectively countered the Israelis' superiority in tanks. However, then the Arabs got greedy and decided, okay, we've only actually planned for the initial push across the Nile and into the very early parts of the Sinai Desert. And we don't have any plans beyond that, but we're greedy and we don't understand logistics or strategy or tactics. So we're going to take our stationary weapons and we're going to rush them into the desert where they will be easy targets for the Israeli tanks. And the rest is history. So yes, the idea of pushing back in Soviet influence is also a big boomer thing, yes. Flame Tigers. Tiger, actually. Thank you both for introducing me to Warhammer Lord of the Rings. I was able to connect to the characters despite being a different race. Wow, second generation Nigerian immigrant. Leftist would probably be confused.
Service guarantees citizenship.
Again, there's nothing wrong with enjoying the Lord of the Rings and the characters in it because they don't have the same color as you. In fact, that was pretty normal back in the day. So good on you for getting into it. Charles the Beagle. Arch, please explain to Carl why Norway is not a serious country by telling him what's happened in Repparfjord. Something happened in my nation? What has happened in my nation?
Guarantees citizenship.
I'm even unaware of this. Mine construction and future operations? I don't even know what that is. But what I do know that can demonstrate that Norway is not a serious nation is that on our nationwide news coverage, we once had a 15-minute long news report on a woman's missing koi fish, which had been eaten by the neighboring cat.
This sounds like an important news report.
Yep. Like that was the most important news in Norway when it was 97% Norwegians.
Yeah, that's the British news was very much like that throughout the sort of 90s and early 2000s. It was amazing.
Yeah.
I miss it.
Today, it's grenade attack in Oslo. Oh.
Yeah. Today, it's stabbings.
Yeah. Like, murder was just on... Like, there's a case of a double murder in Norway. What was the young... The biggest one was the murder of Birgitte Tengs. She was a young girl, beautiful-looking young girl who was taken out in the woods by somebody and killed. And it was gruesome, and it traumatized the country. A murder of a young woman? Unheard of!
Yeah, it used to be like that here.
Yeah. Like, that was a blow to the national consciousness. What do you mean? A young woman could conceivably die in our country. Something is wrong.
Yeah, no, honestly, it was exactly the same here. And this is why the Axel Rudakabana stabbing was just like, something's changed after that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Whereas now, I remember a news article fairly recently going, criminal gangs are using young girls to produce explosives because they're not suspicious. Wow.
Yep. Sounds about right.
Come a long way.
Honestly, I've become just so punitive in punishments that when Trump was like, yeah, we're just going to kill the Venezuelan drug smugglers, I'm like, good. Someone needs to.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with it. Yeah. There's been
Fuck
so
off.
much left-wing cope on that, and all of it's been terrible. It's a fishing boat with 6 outline engines costing like $25,000 each.
What are these huge barrels that it's transporting as well, lads? Is that all fish, is it? Fuck off.
It's filled with ice and fish to keep it fresh.
Yeah, fuck off. It's so transparent.
But due process. America doesn't have any fucking not only jurisdiction, but any reason to pick up Venezuelan drug smugglers and go, we're going to take you to America now to stand trial.
Yeah, no, just blow them up. It's fine.
Yeah,
I don't care.
And the worst part is, the thing is, this is effective. We did this in Somalian waters when the Somalis were like, wow, there's a lot of completely unarmed vessels worth millions sailing by our coast.
Yeah, literally, we shot Somali pirates and they stopped.
Yeah, in the exact same way. Like, there's footage of just like a speedboat, and suddenly just... because a 127mm frag grenade obliterated it.
Yeah, or some guy just opens fire with an automatic rifle and whatnot, and it's just like, fuck around, find out.
A Black Hawk flies by, it's over the speaker, like, turn around, you're in the international shipping lane. Then a bunch of urban youth fire at it with AKs, and a fucking minigun opens up, just brrr.
Yeah, no fucking sympathy at all. What did you fucking think you were doing, you retards?
Like,
you literally got an IQ of 70. Fuck off.
This is literally about informing certain groups of criminals that God exists and his name is firepower.
Yeah, but we do not suffer this anymore. Sorry.
Yeah. Like, the cure to the American drug trade is to just figure out exactly where every drug trafficker lives and dumping a tomahawk on their house.
Yeah, and this, honestly, if the Mexican government wasn't such obvious traitors to their own people, they'd be like, America, could you just blow up the cartels for us, please?
Yeah. We know this guy. He lives right here. Our police can't go in there. Is there anything you can do? Actually, our entire military is focused around this.
Yeah, we happen to have a really good solution to this, says the United States. And we love to use it as well.
Yeah. We've got this airplane. It can fly at like 20,000 feet. They can't even hear it. And we'll just dump a bomb. It's got an accuracy of like 10 meters.
Yeah, they literally won't even know it's happening to them.
Mm-hmm.
And man, if there's one thing the Americans love, it's fucking bombing just targets.
Yeah. God. It's beautiful.
So should we carry on?
So, Luxon, I become fonder of the mustache man day by day. A common opinion.
See, this I do dislike this, right? Because A, Hitler's a fucking loser. Right? He lost the war. Right? B, he was foreign. I don't support foreigners.
He was foreign.
Yeah. You know, and C, he was a fucking vegetarian art student. I don't support vegetarian art students. I don't support socialists. I do actually have ideological objections to Hitler himself. The problem is, you can't speak about the reasons that people like Hitler without being accused of being a sympathizer of Hitler's, which is very annoying because, like, you know, like, for example, the clothes, right? Like, okay, yeah, the Nazis had drip. Like, that's, you know, everyone still wears the Hugo Boss outfits that, you know, the company that made the Nazi outfits. Everyone still wears them because they were conscious of aesthetics. They were like, no, we need to look good to be cool. And yeah, okay, fair enough. You know, they did, you know, and this, I can understand why people like it, but that doesn't, you know, that doesn't mean Hitler was good. That doesn't mean we should support him or anything like that. And it doesn't help to excessively vilify either, because it makes you look weak. If you can't recognize the strengths of your enemy, it makes you look cowardly and weak.
And I do love that as a general rejection, though. Why don't you like Hitler? He was an environmentalist vegan.
Yeah, German fucking lefty. Why would? Oh yeah,
and
why don't
a foreigner.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, that is my primary complaint. Why do you like Hitler? He's foreigner. What are you talking about?
I think that's great.
Sorry. I lived in Germany for 8 years, right? I just couldn't do it. There's no way. I mean, I had lots of German friends. I like the Germans perfectly well, but there's no way I'm ever politically supporting a German for anything. Germans should not be running anything. The best they should be running is a fucking a kitchen, maybe, or an Oktoberfest tent. but they shouldn't be politically involved. Germany should be occupied by the British.
Glow in the dark, Ben Shapiro and neocons falling for old troll tricks. Yeah, kinda.
Yeah, well, we'll get into what the response has been and why it's been bad in a second, I think.
Sheikh Silver, this Trump term is the last chance, both for the establishment right to get their pet foreign issues done and the populace to save their country.
Yeah.
There are a lot of questions that need to be settled during this 4-year term, yes.
Agreed.
So, Loxon, I'm not so sure MM was evil anymore. MM?
Marshall Mathers?
Maybe?
I don't know, man. I always hated Eminem too, to be honest, for different reasons to Hitler. But
I actually love I've always had a weakness for rap, and
that is gay.
I know it's very non-white of me.
That I was gonna say that's your most global South opinion.
Yes, but
Fucking hell, Arch.
Good rap, and Eminem does make some good rap. It's basically poetry put to music. I will die on this fucking hill.
Arch declares Norway to be part of the global South. Benjamin Franklin was right about Norway.
Yep, but he did go fucking full crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I was never a fan of Eminem. Like, I didn't hate him as much as I hate some things, but I just never liked him, and I never found his music very good, and I didn't really understand why everyone else loved it. I remember when Eminem became famous, first became famous, and everyone was, oh my god, he's so good. I'm like, I don't know, man. He seems all right. Like, I've heard worse things, but
Glow in the dark. Mongols make modern genocides look like third-stirring pricks. Yes.
So did the Assyrians, man. Like, I've been there by the guys. Right, there is an incredible YouTube channel called The Oldest Stories. He's only got about 5,000 subscribers, but he is so good. And he does these hour-long autistic podcasts about ancient Middle Eastern history. And so obviously the Assyrians come up a lot. And so he's got a huge library of research under his belt. And so he goes through each of the reigns of the Assyrian kings in quite autistic detail. And I love it. I love the autistic detail. And it's just so many people murdered for just being who they are, like not sufficiently kowtowing to the Assyrian king. And it's like, right, okay, well, that's 100,000 people killed in this city. This city no longer exists. Pillar of skulls outside. The young boys of the aristocracy turned into eunuchs and shipped back to Assyria, and those people are gone forever from history now. Like, the Assyrians are the ones who wiped out the 12 tribes of Israel, the lost tribes of Israel. It's because of the Assyrians. That's where they went. They got, well, frankly, genocided. And so it's like, Hitler bad, but this has been going on for a long time, man. And the same with the Mongols.
Yep. And that is what we should be starting to do with the drug smugglers. Pillar of skulls.
I'm not sure if we need a pillar of skulls, but I think bombing them is just blowing them up is sufficient, frankly.
I don't know.
But anyway, yeah. So the point being is, there's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new under the sun.
Like, if we could follow up the bomb with just like a totem that marks the spot, I would like that.
Yeah. But guys, seriously, look up The Oldest Stories
Here's the
podcast. He's
question.
really good.
Fire
He
is the
deserves more
answer.
viewership, frankly.
Estimates have killed 10% of the world population with swords and bows, mostly Chinese and Arabs.
Yeah, just millions. Probably
Rubber
responsible
legs?
for ferrying the Black Death around as well, apparently.
Arch, enlighten Sargon on the proclivities of the Weimar Republic. There's a reason why Mustache Man came into power so suddenly and broadly.
Why do you think I don't know anything about the Weimar Republic?
Yeah.
Particularly Berlin. Why would you think I don't?
Sargon knows about the Weimar Republic.
Yeah.
One of my favorite quotes from what's the name of the book? I forget the name of the book, but a quote inside of the book was basically that in Berlin you could find basically every pleasure. Everything from toothless old crones to virgin teenagers.
Yeah. donkey brothels and all sorts of things, child brothels. It's just like, it's insane
Yeah.
how degenerate it was.
Literal child brothels.
Donkey brothels. Fucking
Yeah.
literal animal brothels. It's like Germans stopped being extreme in some way challenge failed. Can't you just be normal? For fuck's sake, be normal for 5 minutes. It's like, no, we're not conservative Prussians anymore. Oh, well, what's that mean? That means we're going to fuck children and animals. Oh, for fuck's sake, Germany! Fucking stop it!
Choose can't say I'm much of a fan of NF. Every time he comes up on my feed, he just seems kind of irritating to me. Something about his mzking or how he jokes.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see why a lot of people wouldn't be fans of Fuentes.
River Norse, aren't there parts of American Christianity that believe the Jews must control Jerusalem and Israel must exist for Jesus to come again at the end of days?
Yeah, there's some apocalyptic prophecy that goes along with it. I'm not really very well versed in it. I'm just aware that they have some sort of religious dedication to it.
Yeah, ancient sorcery has never been my strong suit either.
It's just, I don't know. I'm not a believer, so I just have been like, okay, yeah, whatever.
Service guarantees.
Vulture, Islam have been doing genocide since the year 600 and are still doing them. Yes, they are.
Who's that, sorry?
Islam.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd say genocide is primarily the thing that Islam has done wrong.
Not the primary thing.
No, well, I mean, like, for Muslims, like, it's actually like converting and conquering that is the point. They don't actually tend to do that much genocide. They do a lot of horrific, unjust oppression, castration of slaves, and all that sort of stuff. But actual genocide is not really what Islam's about.
Eon Industries, look up dispensationalism. It's a Christian heresy.
I've heard the term, but I actually don't know anything about it.
Christian theological framework that interprets the Bible by dividing history into distinct periods of dispensations in which God interacts with humanity in different ways, emphasizes literal interpretation of Scripture, and maintains clear distinction between Israel and the Church.
Well, there's only one Christian heresy I adhere to, and that's Protestantism.
Sinestro 29, dispensationalism is one of the reasons evangelicals are obsessed with Israel.
Okay, that explains it.
Sheikh Silver, missing context. American evangelicals did not have huge preferences for Israel prior to the 1970s before the pushing of the Christian Zionism by pastors.
Well, either way, it's here now. So, yeah, however it came about.
Think too positive. The only thing the Germans did different than the other people in history is how industrial we did it. Others might have done the same if able.
Yeah,
and even then, like, the industrial, God damn it, I can't say that on YouTube. It is vastly overstated. The Holocaust was ham-fisted and amateurish as fuck. Listen,
yeah.
if you'd given the Mongolians, if Hitler had been able to summon the spirit of Kublai Khan and go, teach me how to kill the Jews, it would have gone a lot faster.
Man, the Mongols, people just don't understand just how fucking awful they were. They would literally line up tens of thousands of people outside of a city and then behead them. They'd spend an afternoon beheading them.
Yeah, just cut the hair. Literally, that would have been Kublai Khan's response. Bro, just chop their heads off.
Yeah, what are you wasting time with?
What are you faffing about with all of this? Gas chambers?
Yeah, they wouldn't have bothered with any of that shit.
Like, yeah, but we need the correct gas mixture. Why?
Yeah, it literally would be. Why? Don't you have soldiers with... Don't you have knives and swords? They would just literally... They did it by fucking hand. Thousands in a day. Like Charlemagne beheaded 10,000 Saxons in a day. Like, you just get your soldiers to line up and kill them with weapons. What are you talking about? That would be the Mongol response.
Yeah. So I don't want to hear this whole idea that the Germans were so industrial about their executions. They were shit at it.
I mean, I'm not saying good or bad. Obviously, obviously bad, but
Oh yeah, I condemn it morally. I'm just also saying they were bad at their jobs.
Yeah, but I mean, I think when you're looking at what the Germans are doing there, it's a bit of a silly question, really, isn't it? Yeah, I don't want to be frivolous about it, but it's not actually terribly unique, is the issue. Lots of empires and kingdoms have gone on mass killing sprees to levels that we would consider to be industrial.
Yep. Alfred, the partisan friend of you of Israel, has to do with the Bible prophecy of Israel becoming a state again, and Genesis 12:13 will bless them that bless you and curse them that curse you.
Yep.
Popatot. They killed CK, then voted in a socialist. A guy with a Nazi tattoo and a guy who wants to kill his opponents and the children the same day. Yet we keep dividing ourselves over Israel. Damn it. Well, I mean, I get it. The argument is we have bigger fish to fry, and yes. But at the end of the day, a house divided cannot stand. I'm going to quote the war criminal on this one because he was right.
Yeah.
The big tent right will not be able to survive and fight effectively against the left if we have literally everyone inside of it.
Yeah. And ultimately, there is a valid question contained within the argument that's being had. Who is America for? Is America for Americans, or is it to support Israel? And I'm not saying that America can't walk and chew gum at the same time or anything, but there are times where these two things become in contradiction. And so in those cases, the answer, the question has to be answered.
Death. What is the Friendship with Benefits fund at? I'd like to know before potentially starting a new fund, this notion for Friendship with Benefits. It is a little over halfway there. It is at $1,075 out of 2,000.
What's that? Sorry.
Chats wants me to play a My Little Pony porn game.
Sake. Okay. Well.
The disappointment in Sargon's voice.
Well, I mean, this is how Nick Fuentes feels about hearing about politicians selling out to AIPAC. If you're going to sell out to big My Little Pony, then okay, whatever.
Listen,
I'll lead the insurrection, Fuentes style, afterwards.
They've already made me play like 4 campaigns of Hearts of Iron, My Little Pony. At this point, this is just... this is the next step, and I'm happy to take it.
Okay. So anyway, I think should we carry on?
Yes.
So, do you want to get the Ben Shapiro clip up next?
See,
the short I sent you.
The one at the top.
Whichever one's the Ben Shapiro one.
There's 2. Nick Fuentes in his. Oh, there's same. Just posted.
Yeah, the
twice.
Nick Fuentes in his own words one. That's it. Now, so you'll notice
Carlson's.
Hang on a sec. So you'll notice that Mark Levin and Ben Shapiro, right, the way that they attack Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes is purely ideological, right? It's, in fact, if anyone sounds like woke right here, this sounds very fucking woke right to me. As in, look what he said, like however many years ago. So a lot of these are quite old clips of Fuentes. When, and just for anyone who's not aware, when a content creator begins their career as a content creator, often the best way to get attention is saying outrageous things that they themselves might not even mean. And so Nick Fuentes followed this quite predictable path, well-trodden path. And so they're bringing up really old clips. Now, Fuentes has actually kind of walked back a lot of these things. And he does so in the interview with Tucker Carlson, which we'll play some clips of in a bit, in fact. He's walked back a fair amount of this because he's a soft Sivnak cuck. I'm just joking. Because once you've gained this audience, you realize that you are a feature of the landscape. actually it is the correct thing to do is to moderate and be a bit more realistic about things, right? And so when you're a sort of, edgy 20-year-old on the margins and no one knows who you are and you're just basically pissing around on the internet and having fun, you say things that you might not necessarily agree with later on, which is what Ben Shapiro is about to throw at us, like some offense archaeologist from the left. Let's watch this.
All right. Just first, I might need to sneeze very loudly. No, it passed.
Decided that it was important not only to host Fuentes, but to smooth over his views, water them down, and make them far more palatable to a normal audience. To understand just what Tucker did here, we must actually examine what Nick Fuentes says on his show. Nick Fuentes says women want to be
women want to be but
Right,
there's like a lot of...
Pause it. Right, look how old this clip is. Right, look how young it is. He's in his old studio. This is an ancient clip of Nick when he's laughing because really, I mean, like, look at the milking farm stuff, right? Look at Twilight,
Yes.
look at the women's choice of pornographic fictions. It obviously he's being insanely hyperbolic, but these kind of fantasies are popular with women. So, it's not like this is actually, a good thing to say, but it's also not like it's demented. I mean, obviously he shouldn't be saying it the way he's saying it, but there is something to this.
Yes, it's the joke. Women's fantasy tends to go around being used, let's say.
And you know what? I'm not even judging. A fantasy is just a fantasy. It doesn't have to mean anything, and it doesn't mean that they want anything. Blah blah blah. Like everyone's entitled to their fantasies. But at the end of the day, ladies, we can see the books on the shelves in the bookstores that you're buying.
Yep. What you want to flick your thing to is up to you. Go ahead.
You need to learn from the men because our internet search history is private.
Yep, we delete that shit.
Let's carry on.
A lot of women that really want a guy to beat the out of them.
Fuentes says that women are who shouldn't be in politics.
I will continue my crusade against women in politics. Have you ever stopped and considered, maybe if you get offended, there's such a strong emotional reaction, maybe that's one of the reasons why you shouldn't be making political decisions. I'm not attacking women. I'm attacking whores. I'm attacking stupid, dirty bitch.
Fuentes?
Again, maybe he means it, but when we say this on my show, for example, it's a joke.
Yeah.
It's the hyperbolic position.
Yeah. Also, I can't help but notice that he is posting a bunch of Nick's bangers here. Like, these are funny. Like, this literally comes across like the school marmish left wing that would be publishing, whatever, oh, look, he said this. And then it's something actually really hilarious because the guy's saying it in jest. Even if there is some truth to it, it's still being part of a sort of bit.
And there was also a point about the whores, okay?
Oh, yeah, God.
So,
fuck me, man.
There was a recent thing that kind of... This was a couple of years ago. It's popping back up in the Twitter sphere right now. So a porn star has gone very Christian after she got married. Good.
Oh, yeah.
She learned. But this all comes across like really like... Some adults are essentially want all our videos to be deleted. I'm like, okay.
Oh.
You have a sex doll that you collaborated with. Official sex doll of you. There's terabytes of videos and imagery of you being railed by half a dozen men. Like, I'm sorry, you made really terrible fucking decisions, and now you are going to climb up on a pulpit and lecture me. No, I don't think I want it.
Did that deal with the devil not pan out like you expected? Shocking.
Yeah, exactly.
Shocking. Can't believe it.
And it's very much so like, no, okay, I'm sorry that happened to you. I'm sorry you made a series of incredibly poor decisions, but...
If we were living in the Handmaid's Tale utopia, I would have made sure that wasn't possible, but we don't. So I'm afraid this is the cross you have to bear.
Too bad.
Says that Jim Crow was actually better for black people.
It's better for them too. Number one, but number two, who cares?
Fuentes says that white...
Okay.
But again, it's like Ben Shapiro playing the leftist. It's like I'm going to play a bunch of these clips out of context, and they're just funny on their own, right? But again, they're ancient clips.
Yeah, I'd like to request further context, honestly.
White people are justified in being racist.
White people are every single bit justified in being racist.
I don't want to.
Just saying, since racism has been expanded to include literally everything a white person has ever done.
To the extent that that means going out of your way to avoid black people when you see them.
Nick Fuentes is
Mm-hmm. This is what I mean about like Ben Shapiro putting this clip show together. It's really funny, and it's like, Ben, you seem like a hysterical pearl clutching school mom leftist, and like Fuentes is just entertaining when he says this. He's like a comedian rather than a political commentator.
See, the problem is here, like, I don't know enough about Nick Fuentes to say whether or not this is serious or anything, but this is also meme shit now.
Yeah.
a Hitler admirer and a Holocaust denier.
It is Heil Hitler Friday, Nick. Heil Hitler. Hitler was a pedophile and kind of a pagan. It's like, well, he was also really cool.
Tucker Carlson.
Okay.
It's just stupidity.
Again, we've
I'm not
already
saying that Nick
outlined our
Fuentes-
position on Hitler. He was a vegan and therefore to be condemned.
He was a foreigner, therefore to be condemned. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I'm not saying that Nick Fuentes doesn't love Hitler. I'm sure he does. But, like, again, a lot of people around the world love Hitler. I hate to be the one to break it to you.
Yeah, the problem is that Ben Shapiro comes across here as a chiding school mom.
Yeah.
Which is not a great look.
Yeah. So we know what Nick Fuentes thinks.
We don't take him particularly seriously. You don't,
No.
and you bringing this up in this way only makes it worse.
Yeah, you taking him seriously makes you comical because again, you're like, he's a Nazi. It's like he's like 5'4" and gay, and himself doesn't. Like I saw a clip earlier. He was like, I don't like eating meat. It's like, oh, for fuck's sake, Nick. I was almost on the maybe he's not gay train, but now I'm fully back on the he's gay train.
Well, maybe he's following in the footsteps of his hero.
Of his hero, yeah. Maybe,
which makes me condemn him harder.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There is no position in the world that will make me follow an environmentalist. Just won't.
Fucking vegan. The fuck is going on, man? Yeah, so that's basically been the Zionist right response, which has not been great, frankly. It's been a very weak response to basically act like a leftist and like the woke right that they've been condemning all this time, and to just have a general kind of spurg out about it. And it's like, okay, man, you guys are acting in a very weak way, which isn't helping your case, by the way. And honestly, like, I don't think Nick Fuentes is as scary as you guys think he is. I think that he just represents something that you have put outside of the bounds of reasonable conversation, even though there is a reasonable conversation to be had on the subject. And so I'm sorry, I just don't think the lid can be kept on this forever.
And calling your opponent names too, especially names that have already been devalued so fucking badly.
God, yeah. Oh, you're calling someone a Nazi, are you?
Service guarantees citizenship.
That sounds like an endorsement.
Well, it just sounds like a woke right thing, right?
Okay, yeah, that's not a great retort. I agree.
No. Yeah. So the momentum seems to be with Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes. The Buchanan right is ascendant. The Mark Levines of the world, like, no, we need to cancel them. And yet, I don't know, man. I don't see that cancellation happening on the horizon. In fact, it looks like the two guys you want to cancel the most are really fucking popular. And so, what now?
What now? Well, again, like, it's a conversation that needs to be had. And I don't think it's going to go particularly well for the Ben Shapiro side of things.
No, I don't either. And, like, you know, watching, like, Matt Walsh get into it with people on Twitter, he's like, look, I've liked Pat Buchanan for a long time. What are you talking about? You know, and it's like, okay, well, I mean, Mark Levine is like, yeah, we cancelled Pat Buchanan because blah, blah. And it's like, oh, right, okay. This is an issue that's going to have to be resolved in some way or another. And I don't know, man. Like, it seems that basically, if I were Israel, I would actually be deferential, right? I'd be like, yeah, no, of course, America first means America first. Israel is, you know, a close ally and willing partner, blah, blah, blah. Rather than being like, no, we own this. We own this house. If you're not for Israel first, you're not for America first. Stuff like that. That's bad fucking optics, frankly, I think.
It is.
And that last, the link I've got there of Tucker Carlson is him having a sit-down chat from the other day with Megyn Kelly. Explaining why he had
what I do think.
So if you want to listen to that, we can listen to that.
What I do think is bad is the all Jews are guilty or all anybody is guilty of anything, because that's just like not true. God created every person as an individual, not as a group. Like, we hate that kind of thinking, right? That's identity politics.
As a Catholic, I could not agree.
Identity politics. Now, that too is probably one of the strongest cards for the Tucker Carlson side to play, because yes, the identity of Jewish has been used as a bludgeon for a while now. Mm-hmm. And it is one of the primary standpoints around this is, no, listen, Nick Fuentes is in opposition to me. Okay, how so? Well, he's a Nazi. Okay. But Nazis don't really exist anymore, so what do you actually mean? Well, he's in opposition to my identity.
He's a podcaster who says things I don't like.
Yes.
So, okay.
I agree more with you. I love all people, even the ones that don't like us. We have to love them all, and we have to recognize that
we're required to.
Yes, but I guess my substantive disagreement is the idea that neoconservatism and Israel has nothing to do with Jewishness, Jewish identity, the Jewish religion, because clearly the state of Israel and the neocons are deeply motivated by that ethnic identity, and their allegiance to Israel proceeds from that.
Well, this is, just BLM. They're engaging in identity politics. But the problem in your response is it does not apply to every individual.
No, and I would never say that.
Okay. Well, I just think it's important to say that, because just that principle that we're all judged as individuals by what we do, and God will judge every one of us in that way, and that's how we're supposed to judge. What I do...
I mean, that's much more moderate. Now,
yeah.
Obviously, the accusation is from Ben Shapiro. Nick Fuentes is lying to launder his evil Nazi beliefs. And maybe there's some truth to that. I think there probably is. But I think it's also likely that actually Nick Fuentes took the most extreme positions just to get attention.
Yeah, so it's of course something that's always difficult to fully figure out, right? Because on the one hand, saying crazy shit on the internet is a good way to get popular. It's one of the leading reasons why the left had a massive surge in popularity after the right was basically neutered via terms of service, because now the left could say whatever they wanted to say.
And my God, didn't they? They
my God,
fucking went ham.
Oh yeah, they went full on. Like, the amount of clip farming you can do for Hassan, for Destiny, for Voss.
And that's, just Hassan. It's like unbelievable. And then the Destiny and Voss stuff. And that's just a fraction of fucking BreadTube.
Mm-hmm. Because that is a good way to get attention. Say something absolutely insane and people will flock, either because they think it's funny, because they think it's a joke, or because they genuinely are. Yeah, no, I agree with that.
Yeah. So when Hassan's like, America deserved 9/11.
Yeah.
refused to walk it back.
It gained him national news coverage.
Yeah.
And then, of course, they're like, okay, how much of it is memes? How much of it is serious? And the only way to really begin determining that is to have a substantive and overall understanding of the entire body of the person's work, basically. And assuming also that they are being honest when they are speaking on it.
And then having a long form, calm, non-accusatory conversation with someone is actually a really good way to find that out, which is why Tucker is having this chat in the first place.
And of course, there's always the danger of the person then, playing to the crowd, of course.
Yeah. Which I'm sure Nick is doing to some degree.
Mm-hmm. But is he... I mean, there's another thing too. Okay, let's say you normalize the Catboy lover. That is actually a way of placing restraints on him.
Yes.
Because once you are accepted into the court, there are expectations of decorum placed upon the members of the court.
And you know what? This was not better exemplified than when Elon first brought him back to Twitter. Obviously, Nick was still in, I'm an outsider, therefore I'm going to say extreme things just because fuck everyone. I'm sick of being abused mode. And he started saying a bunch of stuff. And Elon replied to him saying, just watch your mouth, be careful. I've brought you back because, I'm a free speech guy. But there are limits, just don't be stupid. And then Nick got temporarily banned again, I think, because he kept spurging. But now he seems to have calmed down a lot on Twitter, which is good, frankly.
Yeah, and because that's how it works. Okay, when you're out in the wilds, you can say and do whatever you want. You are served by saying and doing whatever you want.
Yeah.
But when you get inside again in the warmth, you have to be careful. If the master's boot is there going like, I can't kick you back outside again. Do you want to be in the cold?
Yeah. And the thing is as well, it just makes sense. Like, you've got to be respectful of people even if you disagree with them, right? That's the thing. If we want to have a public discourse, it can't just be, I hate you and I want you dead.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just can't be that, whatever that boils out. It has to take into some consideration to the other fellow. But that goes both ways. Mark Levin, Ben Shapiro. It goes both ways.
Yep. That is absolutely a moderating influence on being allowed into a actually neutral space. And for all the criticism you can levy at Twitter, it is actually a remarkably neutral space as far as enforcement goes.
Yep. Anyone can actually come on Twitter now.
Yeah.
Which I actually really like.
There was the Blue Sky exodus that happened like a year or two ago, which has now largely been reversed, and all of those people are back on Twitter.
Man,
Why?
Stephen King was the funniest one. Stephen King
yes.
was just and Mark Hamill as well.
Mark Hamill too, yes.
Yeah.
And the reason why they come back is they go to Blue Sky and they go, firstly, there's nobody here. Two, there's a heavily enforced orthodoxy, and that's it. You stay in your fucking bubble or you get yeeted.
Yeah.
And on Twitter, there's more people, and you are actually allowed to engage with other people.
But also, the opposition is on Twitter. That's the thing. Like, the Blue Sky is unedifying for these people because they don't get to own the chuds. And we know that's why they do it. And that's fine, because that's why we do it. That's why everyone is actually really enjoying Twitter. Like, everyone complains, but they love it secretly. And everyone likes the Thunderdome. It's the place to be, and there's no getting around that, I'm afraid. Shit libs. Block me.
Yeah.
So the last clip is Tucker explaining why he had Nick on to what's her face. That was the wrong one, but that's fine. So if you want to get that up, I've sent it to you with a timestamp, so it should automatically load to the timestamp.
Right. McGinn Kelly show.
Yeah.
I think I did it with Putin. I'll probably do it with every other bad person in the world because I'm interested. Not because I agree with him, because I think it's interesting. And second, I wanted to say...
Every other bad person, Sargon, get on the phone.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But I love it. You know, in this. He ends up explaining, look, I spoke to like, you know, ISIS or like, you know, African
Service
cannibals,
guarantees citizenship.
Vladimir Putin and Nick Fuentes, the worst of them all.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Everyone, like, this is overplaying how important and dangerous Nick Fuentes is.
Say something very specific to Nick Fuentes, and it's this, and I said it, which is, I think it's totally legitimate to criticize any foreign country, from Belgium to Congo to Israel, because they're foreign countries.
Yes.
And I'll never give up that right. In fact, it's an obligation, I would say, and to be reasonable about it, and not, you know, but what's in America's interest? Totally legitimate. It is totally illegitimate and very specifically unchristian to attack people for their DNA. Like, I hate this group.
You want.
Okay, that's a valuable distinction again, because, right, why is Israel doing what it's doing? As we said, it's because Israel needs to act in Israel's interest, and there's nothing wrong with that. But by the same fucking turn, America must be allowed to act in America's interest.
Mm-hmm.
And it is absolutely reasonable to keep separate national interest from personal feelings and personal attacks against groups, etc.
Yeah, and this is this is one of those things that the left is very carefully negotiating at the moment. Oh, we're not anti-Semitic. We just hate Israel. It's like, oh, okay,
yeah.
Well, I totally believe you. You know, that's very believable.
They just hate the state of Israel.
Yeah, and Zionists. I mean, like, I don't want to go on about it because it's cliche, but seriously, it's not fucking persuasive, is it?
Wanted him to hear that.
We all have to hear that. And because that is the basis of Western civilization. Western civilization is derived from the New Testament. It is based on Christian ethics. And the core difference between the West and the rest of the world, not just Israel, but every other country, is that we don't believe in collective punishment because we don't believe in blood guilt. We don't believe that you are born guilty, and we also don't believe that you're born virtuous. We believe that God created every person as an individual. God did not create communities. Every woman gives birth to a human being, and every person has the spark of God inside him. I mean, that's what we believe as Christians. And every person has the possibility of redemption. And in my religion, the great human hero, in Christianity, Jesus is God in human form. But the great human hero in the New Testament is its primary author, Paul, who was Saul of Tarsus, who was the primary persecutor as a Pharisee of Christians. He was murdering Christians. He was Jewish, by the way, so like everyone in the New Testament, but he was on the way to go murder more Christians, that he met Jesus, and then he became the great evangelist of our faith and wrote the majority of the New Testament. So like, he's my personal hero, but he's also living testament to the truth about people, which is each one of us was born as an individual, and we will face God alone at the end to account for our lives. And along the way, there is always the possibility that no matter what your genes are, what you look like, or what your religion is, that you can change and that you can be saved by Jesus. That is Christianity in 3 sentences. And so that is reflected.
Just as a quick thing there, the Christians are far more forgiving than I am. Like when Erica Kirk is like, I forgive him. I'm like, man, I'm sorry. I'm not a forgiving type when it comes to this sort of thing. I'm a lot more pagan when it comes to judgment.
That's true. But again, like his position is
I
simply
respect
like,
it.
why did you speak to Nick Fuentes? Well, because I don't think he's inherently an evil human being.
Yeah. He's probably got something about him that's redeemable, and I am a Christian. And Ben Shapiro and Mark Levine are like, well, we're not.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
And also,
Maybe
you know what,
explains
chat?
the rift here. Sorry, go on.
Since we're now on the subject of forgiveness, chat, I just want to say, I see a lot of you disagreeing with us on the chat as well, and I just want to say thank you for still being here. You know? Thank you.
Arch forgives you.
Oh, that too, yes. But it's nice to know that we can disagree on things and not instantly hate each other either. That is something that we have lost a lot of in the current world. So I just want to point that out and say thank you.
Yeah, I think it's good that we can disagree without ranting and raving.
But we're still going to have to stop sending nukes to Israel.
Oh.
I, by the way, think that's a conspiracy theory. I don't think Israel has nukes, or if they do, they're tactical. But
Really? See,
Yeah.
I mean, everyone seems to think that they do.
Well, the thing is, like strategic nukes, the big boys, require a tremendous amount of logistical infrastructure and maintenance surrounding them. So if they had a decent number of those, we'd know. There'd be a lot of signs. Tacticals? Yeah, they probably got a few tacticals as a last stand holdout weapon, because those are easy to maintain, easy to keep, and don't require a whole lot of infrastructure around them.
Right, okay. I have no idea.
Basically,
But
different.
I do wanna be
Strategic,
clear.
El Grande Boom.
Yeah, I do know. I don't blame Israel for doing the things it does for its own perceived defense. It's just like the attempt to kind of automatically conscript people into their cause. I don't like, because I'm not Israeli. I don't have any. I'm not Jewish. I don't have any loyalty to Israel, and I don't object to Israel either. But there are tactics involved that I don't like, and I'm sorry. I will have my own opinions, judged on the merits of the case.
Is there more in this interview you wanted to see?
No, I think that's about it. But I think what we've done is given a fairly good rundown of the actual problem, because really, I don't know how to say it. It's about not knowing when to give, right? Not knowing when to concede. That actually, America first really primarily should be about America and not Israel, right? And the Mark Levins of the world are acting like they will lose all American support forever if they are in any way flexible on this issue. And it's like, well, I don't think that's true for a start. I think there's far too many Americans who do support Israel for that to be true. But I do think that the issue of, well, what is America for? Is it for Americans or is it for Israelis? Is a question that can't be denied. And so has to be engaged with. And I think that actually the Israelis could essentially, the Zionist types could continue to be a part of the right and close friends with the right, blah, 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 whatever, without having to be the dominant faction of the right. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I believe that's fair.
But I think that for want of giving a little, they're going to lose it all, as Plutarch would say.
Yep. They're asking for too much.
Yeah, and they're clearly afraid as well.
Do Superchats 10, Streamlabs, Marksman. I think I have to agree with Roach King Asmongold. Israel is to Republicans what transgenderism is to Democrats. That's a good take, actually. I like that.
Yeah. Asmongold's had some banger takes recently. But yeah, to the sort of boomercons, definitely.
Yeah, I kind of like that take, actually.
Yeah, I do.
People want their home front in order. Crimson Skies Fund. Marksman, for the putting another bund in Lumi's... Bun, I'm guessing. Lumi Oven Fund. Hello, Sargon. Archer's co-host has been complaining how she cannot afford a second child, so Chad is going to crowdfund the money for her.
Okay, I mean, that's kind of you.
That is kind of them. I think it's mostly a meme still at the moment, but...
Right, okay.
No, Lum wants more children, but she can't afford them because America, so...
Right, okay, yeah.
Marksman, best part about the Lumi bun in oven meme is if by some miracle we do manage it means Art will have to give one giant lump sum payment to someone else. Pain of parting with tens of thousands of dollars at once. Never. I will convert to Judaism first.
If there's one thing I don't like doing, it's giving people money.
I know. The state has taught me that that's a bad thing.
Oh my god, man! My accountant this afternoon, she's like, "Yeah, okay, I've paid tens of thousands to the fucking tax man because you have to pay loads of tax," and I was just seething.
Yeah.
Not her. It's not her fucking fault. I seething at the fucking government. Just like fucking hell, I hate the government so much.
It's awful.
I hate it. I hate it.
Agre, New York City Muslims started shouting that Islam will dominate the world, and you either accept it or you'll be removed.
is what they believe.
Yep, that is what they believe. On the one hand, like, I am not surprised that New York elected an extreme leftist. I'm not shocked.
No, not at all.
And I'm just saying, like, okay, cut the federal funding. That's about $7 billion less for New York City. Let them get exactly what they voted for.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Tax the rich. And as Mamdani said, I want to tax the whites. So, yeah, take him seriously. He really means it. He's going to tax the whites for being white.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope he institutes every part of policy that he wants to.
I'm a democratic socialist when it comes to Mamdani in New York. Go ahead. More. It's literally the meme from fucking The Last Jedi or whatever it's called.
And if you have the reasonable fear that all of the rich people then go, well, shit, and try to move to Texas, build a wall.
Yeah. If you're a white person in New York and you earn money, make your fucking plans, bros. This guy hates white people and he's coming for you.
Vitaly Klemenchuk, if you guys want to hear what the right-wing flank of Gen Z thinks, check out the most recent video from Right Wing Coalition and Tofo on YouTube. Perhaps the lack of communication between Gen X and Gen Z is a growing problem.
Well, I mean, I try to pay attention to basically everything. I imagine that Gen Z Z seems to be basically radicalized at this point.
Yes, I would agree, because there's an ever-growing realization amongst the youth of today that they've missed the golden age.
Oh, yeah.
And that pisses them off. And it's obvious, too. Like, I had this conversation the other day in the topic of entertainment, that more and more people are now discovering old stuff, old TV, old movies, old video games. And they're like, what the fuck? Why don't we have this anymore?
Yeah, great question.
Yeah, sorry, you missed the boat.
But the thing is, they've known this for a long time secretly when it comes to music.
Mm-hmm.
Like, modern music's fucking shit. And
it's
if
fucking
you turn
garbage.
if you turn on the radio, it's all stuff from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s.
Yeah, like, modern music is genuinely fucking awful.
Yeah, and everyone knows it. And it's just like, right, okay, so what are you going to do about it, guys? You know, what can be done about it?
Baron von Stargard. Most people that Levine and co call anti-Semite are just white dudes with pattern recognition, enough to realize that they are the only group forbidden from having an in-group preference. Don't hate, but resent that Jews seems to get the pass and I don't.
Yeah, a lot of people do feel that way.
It's the classic meme of the guy alone as a white person, and then a little bit later, as a Jewish person.
Oh my god, yeah, it's so insufferable. It's like, look, man, there's a fundamental dishonesty there, and everyone can see it. It's like there's the thing, like Ben Shapiro being like, I don't care about the browning of America, and then he was going on about Tucker Carlson had barely criticized that Zoran Mamdani guy, and it's like my brother in. Well, not Christ, but Zohan Mamrani, or whatever his name is a direct consequence of the browning of America. Is literally contiguously connected. That he wouldn't have been possible if New York had not been browned. And you were like, well, I don't care about that. It's like, okay, all right, but enjoy your fucking democratic socialism then.
Jamie 1, good evening, gentlemen. I'd like to ask Sargon if he has read Churchill and the Jews by Martin Gilbert. Also, Israel loves bragging about pointing nuclear missiles at Europe and Britain.
No, and I'm not interested in reading either.
Mrs. Twisted Frenzy, I recently had someone ask me if everything is political, and I think I've been stuck in the trenches for too long because I honestly couldn't answer the question. My mind was just stuck in limbo. Is everything political? Everything is political until we can reinforce the tyranny of neutrality.
The thing is, when you say the tyranny of neutrality, what you mean is the tyranny of our way of life.
Yes.
The tyranny of our order. And that's fine, but we have to understand that it is parochially ours. It's not universal. There are people who disagree with it completely, and they can just suck my dick, basically. I don't care. You know, we are the ones who are going to set how things are going to be. And that's the only way that this can work. We have to be the ones in the driver's seat, basically.
Yeah,
So
that is how you make
is
it.
political.
Everything is political because the other side decided, let's make everything political. Okay,
Yeah.
the only way to fight that is going, right, fair, very much so, everything is political. I'm going to crush everything on your side. Entertainment, music, games, everything. You're not allowed to exist. And then,
remember, the only thing that determines whether something is political or not is for a person to politicize it.
yes.
That's all it takes.
And when they come and go, okay, that was a terrible fucking idea. All of my shit is filled with little mustachioed men now. Can we stop? We may then go, all right, sure.
In a decade or so, yeah.
Yeah. Again, that is the entire argument behind the consequence culture. Because the moment after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, once suddenly right-wing cancel culture was surging everywhere, Hassan, Destiny, Vosh, everybody was like, wow, free speech is really important. We should have some rights around this.
God, maybe. Maybe. What a remarkable turn of events.
So, yeah, everything is political until we can make it non-political again.
Yeah.
Zen Gunnerman, all the craziness in the knee set comes from the Haredi parties because the government just pays them to do nothing but study the Quran and reproduce.
Oh, well, that's smart, isn't it?
Enigma, as my dad always said, is shit. Would rather be alive and hated than extinct and sympathized. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Alex Roberts, watching all media from the 40s, seeing American attitude, it makes me sad to see my American countrymen's optimism be betrayed so much. The American government has not pursued America's interest in years. God bless America.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the things that Tucker is good on is argue like the sort of Bannonite American nativism. Like there is a genuine reason that Americans should be concerned about the way their country is being run. And Mamdani, whatever his name is, in New York, is basically the best example. So look, this is what you're getting if you allow the demographics to change this significantly.
Service guarantees
This is the
citizenship.
future if you permit this. And so having the conversation about immigration demographics and the sort of majority status of white Americans is a real issue that you really have to deal with. You know, as uncomfortable as that might make Ben Shapiro or whoever, that it's a real problem that has to be answered. Because actually, you know, principles are a function of culture and a function of the people themselves. They don't just exist in a vacuum, absent of any kind of tradition.
Sujad, Jews are always the forefront of multiculturalism. The guy who said the US melting pot was Jewish. Push for multiculturalism always comes from them, though very rarely for their own place.
Well, again, that's part of the conversation about the fundamental unfairness about what's happening, right?
Yep, it is. Go in the dark, understand pilgrimage to holy sites, but practically being subservient to those who deny Jesus as a savior is weird. Israel is an asset like Egypt, but they do dirty work US doesn't want to do, double-edged.
Yeah.
Mr. Twisted Frenzy. Hey, Sargon, have you seen Metatron's reaction to your Italy video? If not, you should check it out. He's more or less offered to be your tour guide the next time you visit.
That's very kind. I did watch it earlier. I was outside having a cigar in my garden, and I had the video on, and I was bellowing with laughter at certain points in it because like you expect, he's a Sicilian, right? And I'm not talking very well about certain areas of Sicily, and so you'd expect him to get defensive or something like that, and he's like, nope, that's true. He's got a point there. Like, we are terrible drivers. Our streets are fucking shit. We should fix them. I wish the politicians would fix them. We're all sick of it, you know. And so it was, and there were some bits that were just genuinely hilarious. And it was a real pleasure to watch. I tweeted it out. I was like, this is really good.
Zen Gunnerman. Tucker is incredibly cynical. We got his personal comms during his lawsuit, and he was privately saying the opposite of what he said on camera.
Really? I haven't seen that.
Me neither. Mercenaries anyone? Shapiro, Quintus, and Carlson all feel like nothing more than theater, just complete total kabuki theater. Something else going on here, a distraction. And Levin here feels very hollow to me. Oh, yes.
No, I think Levin feels that he's about to lose everything.
Yeah, he's afraid.
Yeah.
He understands that there's nothing backing him up anymore.
Yeah.
Father Jack the Enlightened, no one greater at spewing up Jewish hatred like the Jews.
Well, no comments on particular things like that from me, I'm afraid.
Boog, why did the Jews fund pro-commie groups?
You know, there was a clip of that Unger Beta Sargon woman saying basically Jewish people built the left in America. I can't believe that the left has turned on the Jews. It's like, okay. Okay.
There have been many people who thought they could control the left.
Yeah.
Every one of them has been outflanked on the left by the left.
I mean, there was a Jewish legend that described this process.
Akun, to quote a famous American rapper, who do you think invented cancel culture? Organized Yuri is a thing, and these guys are dangerous supremacists.
I have lost.
Well, I'm with Tucker. I don't think that, mass judgments of all Jewish people or anything like that are worthy or a good idea. But there are definitely interest groups that have disproportionate power that need to be addressed.
Bass player, Levin, Shapiro, and everyone at the Blaze, except Crowder, were and are never Trumpers. Go back and watch their stuff from 15 and 16.
Good point. Not the Blaze. Daily Wire, right? Because Ben Shapiro, I remember back in 2016, he campaigned against Trump, and he was very reluctant to accept Trump, but he had to because obviously he hates the Democrats as well. So Trump hates the Democrats, enemy of my enemy, right? But he was never a Trump guy.
I glow in the dark. Mark is a smart guy. He has dedicated his life to this, so it's kind of would be an earth-shattering change, that is assuming he's loyal to the US. Left was always anti-Israel due to all Soviet ties, boomer stuff.
Yeah.
And Dreadnought Logan, the Israeli supporters have learned that they can't hold the US government the right anymore for ransom. They are a dying breed of boomer politics.
Correct. And this is something that Gen Z in particular has got no fucking stomach for. People of sort of our age, we don't really care. This hasn't been something that's been a particular canard to us, but Gen Zs really, really do not like this.
Baron von Stargard, I don't even have a problem with Israel. I just don't want to be extracted from some dispensationalist. That's the word dispensational. Evangelical twat can feel good about himself. As far as I care, Israel can do whatever the fuck it wants with its own budget that I don't pay for.
Yeah, I'm the same. I don't care at all. And another thing as well, I don't give a flying fuck about the Palestinians. Sorry, boo fucking who? I mean, who cares? Not my problem. Again, just like with Israel, not my problem.
My stance on the Palestinians is far more strident. I am entirely of the opinion that if Palestine were to mysteriously disappear, the Middle East would be more stable for it.
That's just factually true. People have got short memories when it comes to Palestine, but there's a reason that none of the Arab states will have them. It's because every time the Arab states have taken them in, since the 70s, they've had uprisings. They nearly overthrew the Kingdom of Jordan.
Are you ready to rut this
It's just fucking hell, man.
Buttery
What are you doing? The Palestinians are the reason for the Lebanese civil war. It's what are you doing? Fucking mad. Absolute maniacs.
There's a very clear and obvious reason why every Arab country that has a border with Palestine has it manned with machine guns, sensors, cameras, motion detectors, barbed wire.
Yeah. I mean, the left trying to be oh, the poor Palestinians are, well, I mean, yeah, maybe. Not entirely that poor.
Arwood, Sargon can read minds. He can. It's one of his many powers.
Oh, yeah. What did I read a mind on, by the way?
I'm not sure. I Glow in the Dark. Cancel DEI, not Nick or Tucker.
Oh yeah, obviously cancelled DEI.
Marine Alva, time to watch The Exodus from New York City.
Yeah, I'm honestly, I did a video about this the other day. I was like, look, right, I'm actually kind of excited for Zoran to be in charge because the Democratic Socialists have been gathering steam for a while, saying, see, we are a viable alternative to the sort of mainstream Democrat left. It's like, okay, well, I want to see what you do. You know, everyone's been telling you that we know how this is going to play out. So let's fucking watch.
Go for it.
Yeah, I'm up for it.
Kerala, everyone talks about intelligence, stinginess, etc., but they are far and away the greatest group at making everyone hate them, destroying their own reputation and setting up their own persecution. Yes and no. Like, there are many groups that simply are incompatible with Western society and always have been, but the Jewish group are the ones that have been more common in Europe, and due to their own religious convictions, their own beliefs, their own moralities, yeah, they've basically made themselves enemies in every single country they've visited. It's like, again, there's a reason why we needed to invent a specific word for persecution against the Jews.
Yeah. And again, I'm not in favor of persecuting anyone. It's just, you know, these things have happened.
Juggernaut Demon, now that it has become clear that Israel funds Hamas and that they ordered their own force to stand down on October 7th, can we stop the whole dog and pony show and admit it was a false flag?
So I don't know whether that's true or not, so I'm not going to comment.
I haven't heard anything about that either. Lilouve Admira. God, I hate the new at tags. Everyone's previously made nice nicknames, so not just whatever they typed into Google the first time.
Yeah.
Why watch Bond films when the Bond games are far more entertaining? Have we even gotten a Bond game in, like, I don't even know.
I mean, I can't remember the last time there was one.
Yeah, I feel like we would just have to emulate GoldenEye.
I mean, really, though, that's the only notable Bond game anyway.
Yeah.
Like, name another Bond game that's any good.
I can't.
Exactly.
Mason Miller just saw a clip of Hassan, the Zapper, getting denied entry to the Zoran party.
Really? I saw a clip of him in it.
He was downstairs, but they denied him entry to the upstairs part.
Oh, that's rough. Did they really?
They did.
I can't believe saying America deserved 9/11. Got you, you're a literal communist. Oh, that's rough.
Well, Hassan and his ilk are currently in the very early phases of not being politically acceptable anymore.
Yeah, I know. It's great, isn't it?
So there's going to be a period of them basically being confused, like, wait, I thought we agreed on all of this.
No, you were a useful idiot. Get in the fucking gulag.
Marunga 2. Have you lads seen that Anglican Church has split? Has it?
No, I haven't seen that.
I have not seen this either.
To be fair, the Anglican Church is fucking disgraceful at the moment, so I could believe it.
Love the Pie sent one warp token. Thank you. Vitaly Klemenchuk, have another one. Arch, fund for the right-wing coalition video and Tom Foe's videos on the conservative civil war. Both are must-watch for understanding where the Zoomers are at, but generally from liberal to far right is better for stream. Milking fun.
You ignorant slut.
Festiva. Putin tried the Tucker tactic on Trump during their meeting in Alaska. Trump didn't care and threatened to cut the whole meeting short.
I love that Trump is just not cerebral enough to want to hear electoral history. Like Tucker's like, oh, this is interesting. This guy knows some stuff. And Trump's like, listen, I'm here to do stuff.
Yeah. I don't care about the history of your country.
Yeah.
This doesn't sound like American history. Shut up.
The world was created in 1776.
Oh. Boog, curse your timeline with AI slop. Look up H-Phi-Y sci-fi. Oh, humanity, fuck yeah, sci-fi. So it's there's an entire genre of like science fiction that is just jerking off humanity, basically.
They're really based.
It's really cringe.
Oh.
Like, really cringe. And it's almost all made by AI, too.
Oh, that's annoying.
CyberGod Keck, you two just make the left wing talking about a point about Israel. You don't know what you're saying. I'm out first, them come for the Jews, but you did nothing. You are not the Jews. Then luck when they come for you. When they come for us?
See, this kind of hysteria, I'm not buying into. I don't think the Jews are in any imminent danger of an extermination or anything. I think we can have a reasonable conversation.
Yes, I don't think there's that much of a hurry, and when they come for you, they have come for us a lot more recently.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I actually do live in fear of persecution by the state.
Arwood, an all anti-Israel conspiracy is Soviet propaganda. That's a strident position.
Yeah.
Shaman Maclamia, the harder the Israel lobby tries to stomp out the anti-Zionist right, the bigger it gets. Sometimes your best move is to do nothing.
Honestly, I think concede a couple of points.
Yeah.
Would be the best move. Just be like, yeah, maybe. And you take the wind out of their sails, frankly. But, I mean, if the thing is, if your position is predicated on them never having a legitimate point, okay, well, good luck with that.
Glow in the Dark, Norway is playing a dangerous game if they don't find another income other than oil. Even Saudi Arabia and Qatar is diversifying better. Go for rare earths. Oh, we never will. Like, we're idiots. That's literally our entire oil fund is, well, partially as diversifying. But we intend to live off that when we run out of oil. And it's retarded. It's just dumb.
Right.
Like, we're just stupid. I just hope I'm dead before we run out. Rafit Alustro, what idea do you sometimes wish never gained traction? For me, it wavers between the long march through the institutions and microtransactions in video games.
Well, I mean, the long march has been bad, but microtransactions.
Listen, for me, it's got to be DLC.
Yeah, I do dislike DLC.
DLC killed the expansion pack, and the expansion pack was what stood between us and games being reset on every release. Because an expansion pack needed to add substantive content. That was the norm. We had expansion packs that were bigger than the base game.
But DLC as well, like a lot of it is early access as well. I actually really don't like early access, and I think it's ruined a lot of games. Frankly.
Yeah, the idea of it was solid. Okay, you've got a small group of people who are like, okay, we need help to produce our game, we need help bug testing, etc. We can give you the game at a cheaper point, help. Now it's just an early release. That's all it is.
Yeah. I mean, there are games that have been in early access for literally decades.
Yes.
So it's just like, okay, this is not what this is, right? This is something else. And it should just be like, if it was just, I don't know, like, call it something like live development or something, where it's like, yeah, we're just going to be consistently developing this. And so you can buy it, and whatever state it is in at the moment is the state you get it, but don't give me this bullshit about, there'll be a final release. No, there's not. You're not going to do that. It's just a live development game, and you're going to continue developing it forever. That's fine.
Worded, America has jurisdiction over drug lords, smugglers. It's constitutional. Is there a clause in the Constitution saying we can blow up smugglers? Because I hope
this
so.
Bomb has jurisdiction over the smugglers, so...
Yeah. What is your jurisdiction to blowing up people in Venezuelan waters? You don't have a navy. That's my jurisdiction.
Yeah, what are you going to do about it? Nothing.
God. I'll take some responsibility here because for far too many years, the European position on America was like, how dare you act like the world hegemon? Now, I'm all for it. Yes, America should blow up the smuggling boats and then just be like, why did you do that? We can.
Yeah, like no, a really good example. I really approve of Trump renaming the Department of Defense to the Department of War.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's what it is. It's a Department of War, right? This whole like Department of Defense bollocks. What this is a liberal fig leaf. Oh, well, we're purely a defensive force. Like, no, you're not. The American Army has been used as an offensive force many, many times, and it's not wrong to do it. It's what life is as the power, the superpower. So get on with it. It's fine to be the Secretary of War. You do wars. Wars is something we do. Because it always bends to liberalism, where it's like, oh no, really, there should be never a war. It's like, no, that's not true. There are always going to be wars, and you've got to be good at them.
Absolutely. TF, a Mexican politician who said the quiet thing out loud about their politics and ran and won as an independent, was assassinated recently. Another day that ends in Y.
Yeah, Mexican politics is a horrifically dangerous business.
Yeah, it's basically blood sports with actual blood.
Yeah. What was it, 36 or something got assassinated in the last election?
Yeah, and that was just the prominent politicians, not counting locals.
Oh, it's mad. Absolutely mad. Like, I mean, the best thing that could happen to Mexico is if Trump literally just sent the army in and fucking annexed about half of it and then just murdered all the cartel members.
Boog, I want Trump to treat Mexico like Venezuela.
Well, there we go, yeah. I mean, treat the cartels like it. Like, Mexico does not have sovereignty, right? That's what people have to remember. Mexico is not a sovereign country.
But the cartels are, and we've declared war on them, so...
Yeah, the cartel narco states are sovereign countries.
And they're going to need to be dismantled.
And they've declared war on the United States.
Zaloxon, Genghis is now a demon prince of corn, at the very least.
Doubtless, yeah.
Dark Ledushk, I'm just saying we have a border wall, maybe add some gibbets along it or along the roads. Might send a more powerful message, along with mines. I'm not in opposition to this. DM Mifia, Arch, you need a list of the books you reference. On another note, what is that book in Weimar, Germany? Had Rose in the title, I think. I don't remember now. I've got it bookmarked somewhere.
To be honest with you, practically any book on Weimar Germany will give you a fairly horrific view.
That's the one. Voluptuous Panic, The Erotic World of Weimar Germany by Mel Gordon. That's the one.
Sounds like a fucking endorsement.
It's got pictures.
Yep.
Synthos, Mexico. So, hey, could you please, USA, say no more, frantically looking for the Sword Predator missile. Today, Dragon, the children of World War II vets, the boomers, are living long enough to see the passage of time and that the newer gen just doesn't care all that much about World War II. Time passes, fewer cares. Like nearly every other war, it scares them. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because remember, the boomers grew up being completely propagandized about World War II.
Yes.
Like, it was the most, I mean, and reasonably so, because their parents had just won it. So it was just like, this is the most cataclysmic thing that has ever happened in the history of our country, which is true. But also, it's over. Also, it's gone.
Yep. Horus Lupical, Chris Ray Gunn supports Mamdani.
Yeah, of course he does.
Vital Klemenchuk, Stitch and Adam also did the This You meme.
Okay. To be honest with you, I support Mamdani as well.
Zaloxon, old Nick was right. Look at New York.
For accelerationist reasons.
Taratine, Arch, have you heard of Drown Like? Look like Frostpunk, but sea. I have actually looked at it. Yes, I like it.
What's that?
Drown Like, city builder a la Frostpunk. So.
I've not heard of this.
A flooded world where you need to survive
Harrison's
against
the best.
cataclysmic
Why
horrors living in the
cancer?
deeps. Six-sider. Fuentes claimed love of Stalin. Was there anything redeemable about Stalin? He did have a pretty nice mustache.
Yeah, he had a more impressive mustache than Hitler.
Yep. And he killed a
But-
lot of communists.
Yeah. I mean, if we're gonna have a mustache off, like Hitler's mustache is kind of gay, to be honest.
Yeah, it is kind of gay.
Oh, I really love Charlie Chaplin. All right, fag.
Wreck the Hull. Honestly, I partially hope both sides of the right and left keep acting insane because it increases the chances that my side, libertarians, win.
I'm sorry, bro. I don't think that's happening. I think the libertarian fancy world is off the table these days.
Must the next anyone. Remember, guys, I'm not crazy. I'm just early. Midrael? Normalizing crazy is dangerous. The mainstream left thought they could control their loons and are now being eaten alive.
Well, I don't know, actually. Like, the loony left seems to be in control of it.
Depends on if they remain loony. That's the thing. If bringing Nick Fuentes into the middle ground makes him go, oh, I like it here, it's nice and warm, I should behave, then great. If he keeps acting like a crazy person, well, clearly he deserved the ban.
Yeah, but I don't think he will. He's already, like with the interview with Tucker, he's already moderating himself.
Yeah, like, seriously, it's the beaten dog outside. Bringing it in and placing it in front of the fireplace might actually make it think, oh, I like it in here.
Yeah, that's literally what's happening.
Occultology has been a member for 1 month. Thank you. Israel is our vassal state. A good empire takes care of their vassal states. Nick is a Catholic subversive, and they want unlimited immigration.
I have lost.
Well, I don't think Fuentes wants unlimited immigration, but I agree with you. Like, if the appropriate relationship between America and Israel would be one of a vassal state to a superior, and so why doesn't Israel act that way?
Shit.
They Wolf the Red. Only way to beat Nick Fuentes is debate his ideas and not be spineless jellyfish when it comes to beating the left. The GOP are cowards, and we know it. Stephen Knizik, bad person. Tucker Carlson interviews. Tommy Wen. Oh, I would like that, actually.
That would be great.
Halcyon Asher, good day evening. Arch and Carl. Missed a lot of the stream due to the bros, but happy to hear my country is the source for yet more internet drama. As ever.
And that's literally what this boils down to.
Yes.
This is why it's like, oh, he's a Nazi. Calm down. Calm down. He's not that fucking interesting.
Vitaly Klemenchuk, not to bring an excessive drama, but such an Adam Cole saga on far right on their last stream covering the Nick Tucker interview, because frankly, Carl has a lot of the same opinions. He can just express them better. Federal Benefits Fund.
I hadn't commented on it. I hadn't commented on the Nick Tucker thing. This is the first time I'm doing it.
Resos, hello Arch and British man. And do you think that some Israel supporters, I'm presuming, support it because they think it's popular or they have other motivations?
No idea.
I don't know either. I don't even know if that's popular, honestly.
Yeah.
Alex Anderson, you need to get Metatron on. He's friends with Shad. You can do it very easily. Just do it, DM Shad.
Yeah, I do like Metatron.
Okay, I can shoot Chad a message. We have been thinking about getting guests, but I'm busy. God damn it.
We don't have fucking secretaries.
Apparently I need to get one. Jordan Rogers. Hi, Sargon. Do you think Bernie was a pressure relief for the left and that Madame Mamdani left extremism as a result of him not getting a fair shot?
I mean, I think Bernie and Mamdani believed the same thing. So, they're basically the same.
The Eccentric Ripper. You skipped my super chat about German American Bund. Did I?
How could you?
YouTube is gay and wrong. Let me see if I can search it up with the old Control F. Yeah, it's not here. From Control F, there is no other super chats from you. So YouTube ate it? Question mark? I don't think I'm ignoring you on purpose. At least I don't remember doing that. Most nice anyone. Mondani will be dethroned because of cheating. And Raceface streamed the old PC Bond game, a good one. What's the other one? Charles Lawson. My term for people doing the as white as non-white thing is milk dolphin. They submerge themselves in whiteness without becoming part of it. Milk dolphin. That's a term.
Why milk dolphin, though?
I don't know. Because dolphins are underwater, I guess?
So a fish, what?
Well, a dolphin sounds better.
Ready to rut this
What's
yellow
milk got
mare's
to do with it?
fluttery buttery butt.
River Norse. HFY is much older than AI slop on YouTube art. There's tons of great literature on various sites, even Reddit, on our humanity fuck yeah. Don't judge genre by AI. I will judge it because I haven't seen any of it. So I'll judge it based on whatever I saw first. Leo of the Red, giving Mexico back after the Mexican-American War was a mistake. We should have kept it. I don't know. You're complaining about the illegal Mexicans right now. Do you really want them all to be legal?
Yeah, I'd like to add 200 million Mexicans to the population, please. What? Why? What are you doing, bro?
R-worded, research the anti-Israeli Soviet propaganda, then. Maybe. Murdoch Hancock, you guys should watch the Dave Smith versus Colum Hughes debate. There are many things we should watch.
Yeah.
Alex Anderson, I thought Lumi was your secretary. No, she's been slacking recently. Because she has to work 12-hour shifts at the steel mill. Unironically. She absolutely does that. Which, I don't know. I don't think I would want to be alive if I had to work 12-hour shifts at the steel mill. But he says one.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Murdoch Hancock, when the US was founded, 10 out of the 13 states banned Catholicism from public office. Only 3 of the 13 banned blacks. Catholic Charities is the largest supporter for immigration in the US.
It's so base that you ban Catholics. I mean, it's like literally, like you had Joe Biden, Irish fucking president. Are you serious? What are you doing?
Irish. Disgusting.
Yeah, the Irish question is one that's gone severely underinterrogated, frankly.
Yeah, the Irish question is probably the single largest question in human history, and we don't give it enough attention.
No, we do not.
But with that, we are through. We have done all the super chats and the Streamlabs, at least the ones that YouTube haven't eaten. And so,
Good.
Until next time, chat, thank you very much for watching. And thank you, Sargon, for hanging out with me today.
Always a pleasure.